in the process of going live. So you should be
Cool.
live.
Hey, and we are live here on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. I'm beaming in from Unify Tattoo in Florida, and Renee is beaming in from Oklahoma City. So this is the Paint Night with Renee Little. Happens the last Monday of the month at 6 o'clock, and somehow it's already the last Monday of June. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Reinventing the Tattoo Network as we test that this is going out live. And then we'll get right into it. There's no ads or breaks when we start, so that's cool. If you are an artist and you are interested in zooming in, head straight to the homepage of Reinventing the Tattoo. Under the free resources, there's a link that says upcoming events, and it'll scoot you right down to the Google Calendar. And then, yeah, you click on the 27th because that's the date, and there will be a link there to zoom in. Okay, real quick. Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are all encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events to share with each other, inspire each other, and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We're beaming up pretty much every day, 5 days a week, I think, maybe 6 sometimes. And with your help, I've actually turned into a real network of quality live tattoo and art shows. You could find Reinventing the Tattoo on either of the app stores, Google App Store, the Google Play Store, the YouTube channel, and Roku. If you have one of those Roku smart TVs, or you could download it, then yeah, we're Reinventing the Tattoos on there, as well as all of the usual podcast places. That's the Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all those things, right? So please do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo in any of those platforms. Give us your positive reviews there, constructive criticisms, and sponsorship opportunities. Come straight to management at reinventingthetattoo.com. Let's see, I'm going to skip down here to some real world events. I think the next one that's coming up is July 29th to the 31st. Reinventing will be setting up at the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio with Tony Urbanek. If you are interested in joining the Reinventing meetup at, I think it was like 10 or 11 on that Saturday in Akron, Ohio, we'll be having breakfast before the show. Then I think we're going to get out to Hell City, Phoenix. That's in August. And yeah, the sponsors that make these shows, free for everybody. Thank you very much. Raw Pigments, rawpigments.co is an ink company that has acrylic-free inks. They don't dry out in the cup. Check out videos and whatnot. Rawpigments.co. They seem to actually be sticking with people, which is really cool. World Tattoo Events is the largest, most comprehensive resource that exists online for tattoo events. And Alex is very busy updating all the dates and whatnot, as the tattoo conventions are pretty much now in full swing, it seems again. That's worldtattooevents.com. DLize Pro is known as Dermalize worldwide. DLize Pro in the United States. Thank you to international copyright stuff. If you're interested in protecting your art, it's a healing wrap that's designed to breathe. So yeah, you could also, again, catch the videos. Alex Tapasi is kind of the ringleader there, or at least he was. I'm pretty sure he still is. Anyways, DLize Pro is known as Dermalize worldwide. Check it out. Tattoo Now, I do technology for tattooers. I could be your part-time CTO. TattooNow.com, check it out. And then last but not least, in this case, first really, is Guy Aitchison, GuyAitchison.com. He is the founder and the inspiration behind the whole Reinventing the Tattoo environment and ecosystem. You could check out his bioencyclopedia. It's like 2 massive tomes, I guess. It's massive. It costs as much to ship it to Australia as it does to purchase it because it's so fucking big. It's amazing. Anyways, he has DVDs, paintings, prints, everything. Check out GuyAitchison.com. And if you enjoy any of these shows, yeah, you could send him a thank you note. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing this a little bit truncated because, well, like I said, I'm on location here in Florida. Hopefully this is working. I'm going to check it out in a second. But last but not least, please leave your positive reviews on all those channels. It really helps us get the word out and the numbers up. And if you're interested in hosting a Reinventing event or sponsoring the community or whatnot, or even just giving us some critiques on what we could do better, management at reinventingthetattoo.com. So I'm going to hop off here in the background and hand the show off to Renee Little. She's awesome. Yeah, very excited. So Renee, how are you? Thanks for doing this every.
Thank you for having me.
Monday. Whew. I almost said Sunday.
My pleasure. Oh gosh, no. No, thank you for having me every last Monday. I wish I could do more. Even it seems like it's been so long since we took the last one off for the holiday. So I'm here out of pure joy and fulfillment of my own heart, not for you guys at all. I'm kidding. But no, I feel like every single time we do the show, it gets a little bit bigger and a little bit more. I don't know. Is it really just painting, or are we all just getting together and forming the revolution?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
A little
Today
bit
has
of
been the whole, yeah, a little bit of both, for sure. I think art's really important, and I think it's like really rare when we can all come together. And my post for the event today, on the medias, I was like, it's not really just about doing art. It's about like just doing it with other artists. And like, yes, in doing art, I think it's almost meditative while we paint and while we draw and while we kind of converse together. We like free up a lot. So I think it's just very therapeutic. And I haven't talked to any like peers in a hot minute besides like my clients, my friends, It's so rare when I get to talk to other painters or just like technical artists that, I don't know, little things like this is what, really keeps me going for all the other ventures. Oh, Gabe, definitely sign me up for Saturday breakfast at Rubber City because I will be doing the eco seminar that Saturday morning.
Awesome.
So
Wait,
I'm
what time
gonna
are
need
you
it
on Saturday?
as soon as the doors open at the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need a big breakfast because I don't know. It's gonna be like probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours of me just going over like how I've made my business really, really environmentally sustainable.
Awesome.
Cut down a lot of costs. Like my entire setup to tattoo is biodegradable. So I feel like that's cool. And I'm very excited to share it. Yeah. Because me, I'm like, even the plein air stuff, I started talking about like intention and the future of our like child's lives and what are we doing here for real. So I feel like it's really a good timing to have this seminar because I get to touch base on a lot of current events that are going on and just like, I don't know, like to reshape people's minds and shake it up a little bit, so I'm pretty stoked. And Tony's great.
Awesome.
He's been helping me out, like doing the advertising and kind of like really forming how to give my elevator pitch, Here, I'm going to set my camera up. You guys see what I'm doing today? Jason, how do you like capturing my face while I paint? Because I feel like I make the dumbest faces. Gabe, can you guys see
I
me?
do. I just stopped caring.
Well, I mean, it's bad. Have you ever like looked at yourself? Like hold your face and then looked in the mirror? It's terrible. I can't. But so I'm just like, no, you guys are forced to look at my hands.
Yeah, I always like to do the picture in picture just because, like, I don't know, I like to see, like, if I stop painting to talk, I like to be able to see, not necessarily myself, but I like to be able to view like what's going on and where. So that's just kind of my 2 cents with it, I guess.
Oh, yes. I do actually have an iPad right here, and I have my reference, and then on another screen, I like pop up the YouTube channel, and so I can watch like how the YouTube.
See if there are any comments coming in.
Yeah, that or like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, how's my view really? Because I can see it on my phone, but I know I have like a different perspective than what might show up on the tube. And on my trusty good old arm mount for my phone is like done. It's done. It's finally just broke in 1,000 pieces. It's like really old and PC, and it's just like, it's done. So I'm kind of makeshifting this one today, but it's pretty creative, I think.
Well, if you want any recommendations, I've got like a 4-camera setup going, so I can capture.
Oh yeah.
Angles.
I just got a new microphone. Go on.
So right now I'm on camera 1, which is the overhead, plus I have picture in picture. Camera 2.
Whoa.
There's another one.
Oh my God.
I've got like
All the dramatic angles.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. Just keep
I
using
just-
it blue steel every time you move it over. Oh wait, you're gone
There's
now.
three. Three is the overhead camera, and four I actually have
Okay.
connected to my iPad, so that if I wanted to share whatever
Mhm.
I was working on with my iPad, it would be it acts like an HDMI out display, and the switcher that I have going on picks up the HDMI, so you can actually see. You won't see my hands or anything, but you'll see everything on the screen, and you'll see what I'm doing as I'm doing it on the screen.
Uh-huh. Huh.
But I mean, theoretically, I could take that extra
Witchcraft.
HDMI. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually a forest gnome. I just, don't like to wear my pointy hat all the time. So
You David the
I think
Gnome,
you'd look
yeah.
good with it.
I am a magical creature, or so I've been told.
Yeah, just come to
So
my
that
shop and
is-
set it up for me because that'd be rad.
Okay, I'll give you a breakdown of what's involved, what you need to pick up, and as long as you have everything together and everything's good, and we don't need to like run out and grab anything additional, yeah, it'll be
Mhm.
pretty simple and easy. A lot of it
That's
has
what they
to
all
do with your
say,
environment.
but-
Well, a lot of it has to
Oh,
do with your
okay.
environment. So, for example, if
Mhm.
where you want to have your cameras set up is, 30 feet away from an electrical outlet, well, we're going to have to figure out some way to get electricity over to the cameras,
Mhm. That makes sense.
So-
Yeah.
and also
I get
depending
that.
on your budget, you can get a couple of really nice HDMIs or a couple of really nice older digital SLRs,
Mhm.
which you can actually set up and use as video cameras. That's what I'm shooting with today. I've got a Nikon
Oh,
set
very
up, a Canon set up, and they're way old. I mean, these are not cameras that I would ever actually go out and take photos with. They are almost
Mhm.
purely dedicated just for video.
Oh, okay. Because I do have some nice digital cameras, but like I just assumed all these years that they're like so out of date or like so out of touch with time that they're not like acceptable. But I just found like a little insert thing for my iPad that I can upload my photos. So I'm like looking at photos for the first time in years because I like
Right?
how do I get the pictures onto a thing from this, and Gabe knows I'm like ridiculous sometimes when it comes to technology that I'm just like, what? Like, I think my brain just allotted me to go so far with it. And it was pretty much XP, Windows
Right.
XP. And then after that, it was done. I was done. It was done.
Oh, I remember Windows XP. I remember Windows XP, Vista 7.
Oh, see,
The
this
good
just
old
sucks.
days.
Dude, I
Yeah.
used to play a virtual poker game, running it all through Microsoft DOS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the big
Dang.
5 1/4 inch floppy disks, the ones that look
Oh,
like
yes.
actual
Oh,
slate
I love
icons.
those. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are great. Yeah. I miss
Yeah, I think I started out on Windows 95.
hmm Yeah, I think so too,
Um,
actually. Yeah, I think we're the same age.
Yeah, but I'd be more than happy to do that for you.
No,
We'll set
thank
you up
you.
with a couple of really nice like boom arms for like overhead shots, tripods with basically angled boom arms on them. We can do that. Depending on
Yeah, I have
what
a
kind of
couple boom
old
arms,
digital
too.
SLRs you have, we might be able to hook those up. The Canon I'm shooting with is about 10 years old. It's one of the old Rebel T3s.
Mhm.
And then I've got one of the old Nikon D3200s, which is
Jeez,
actually
okay.
it's a perfect model to turn into a webcam because it does clean HDMI out. So like you don't have the grids or anything like that on it by default.
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
a new zoomer in. Hey, Jack, can you turn your camera sideways? Oh, and
I
your
knew it,
audio
No,
is off,
no.
Jack.
Gabe, less than a minute in, and you're already telling someone to turn their camera.
I know. I was like, he's just gonna, yeah. Actually, my apprentice needs the code. Let me go get it to her.
It is on the homepage of Reinventing the Tattoo. So if you go to the Google Calendar, the link is there, I believe. But also, you could
What?
just directly send it to people.
Yeah,
too,
I'm
of
just
course.
gonna, I'm just
So Jack, when you logged in, you may have clicked the button that said no sound. So you might hop out and then hop back in. And when you see the little pop-up that says sound, read it and click join with cellular sound.
Okay.
Ever since I
Send in
finished up the
stuff.
last. Oh, what? Huh?
Oh, I'm here.
Sending things? You're sending things.
Sending things.
Send
I just
all
sent
of the
stuff.
things.
Okay.
All of them.
I'm sending all of them immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, they're sent. Everything's fine. I saved the day.
Yeah. Ever since I finished up the last painting, I was struggling for a long time as far as what do I want to do now?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know. Thanks for texting me today too, because I was like, I don't know. I've been just snailing through these oil paintings to finish off these octopus series. Because it's just been like, I don't know, it's just with everything going on, it's just been a little busy with the studio. So I've unfortunately just had to deter my path a little bit and just tattoo and work and tattoo and work. But I know I have this is like a little tip I give people, including my apprentice. Like when you feel a little overwhelmed, it's totally okay to do like something a little looser, something a little bit more freeing, just to give you like some sense of self-gratification. Because like, I know if I don't paint for a really long time, I get really depressed, and I was kind of overwhelmed when you called me or texted me. I was like, oh God, what am I going to paint? I don't think I could emotionally go through the oils today. But I'm like, oh, I do want to paint this little baby. So, that'll take me no time at all. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm taking a little hiatus from oils, not because I'm, trying to neglect them or anything. It's just,
yeah, you can't neglect them.
I realized how much faster I work when I work with watercolors. So like I
Mhm.
banged out 4 paintings in the past, like 2-3 months. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, if I had
Which-
like 2 hours a day, oh my gosh, the amount of birds I would just get down on paper. Whew. Wild. I do think about that, and I think about retirement. I'm like, oh yeah, I could be that crazy bird lady, cats and goats, just painting birds all day.
Yeah, but
Tattooing,
aviary illustration, I believe, is a bird illustration.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like biology illustration,
Yeah.
aviary. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I'll go with it. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
I'd
think
love
like,
to get into something like that for retirement. Just sit
oh
back
man,
and
when
paint
I was,
medical illustrations or like wildlife illustrations all day long.
it's actually really hard to get into. There was a point when I was in college that I really, really, really wanted to do biology illustrations, and I wanted to do more like flora and fauna on the field. That was my like little dream set. But I knew so many people that wanted to do like anatomy and things like that, and there's like so little availability to be like one of the people chosen that it's just, yeah, you gotta wait till like someone dies basically. Like I know Nick Baxter does those medical paintings. I want to know like, how did you do that? I should have asked him that. I totally forgot. Some more painting stuff, but
Yeah, sometimes it's just who you know.
Yeah, and he really dived into it, so I'm not surprised if they were like, yeah, of course you can. Look at this realism that you do, like if you apply for certain things, they'll do it. If you show your portfolio to like medical books and stuff like that, it's like the same thing as trying to get yourself published in art books, but you're just like hitting a different platform. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just got in a new book today. It just got delivered.
Ooh, congrats.
And I am absolutely in love with it.
What is it again?
It's called
Say it again.
Well, I'm in love with it. It's by Daniels Bauti over in Spain. and it's
Mhm.
all Art Nouveau kind of style stuff. Let me break it out. I'll show it off real quick. And it's called Women and Nature.
Oh. Well,
And I mean,
dang.
this book, it's a weird size, but I'm absolutely in love with it.
Yeah. Wow.
So let's put that over here.
Yeah, let's see.
So,
Oh, I saw you flipping through that. Yeah, that is beautiful.
see if I can
I
zoom
saw
out
you
a little
flipping
bit
through it on the
more.
gram. Hey, Gabe, my apprentice says that she's waiting to be let in too.
Oh, I'm
You
in
see her?
now.
Oh, hey, Megan.
Hi.
Hi.
Hopefully this is
Look
in
at-
focus.
We're looking at Jason's new book.
Ooh.
Wait until I start flipping through. It's absolutely
It's
incredible. If I can
gorgeous.
get the camera in focus. There we go. That should be it. All right. So, like, love the layout. Like I said, it's a really weird, awkward size. I think it's like 14 inches tall by probably 6 inches wide. So
Beautiful.
it's not very wide. But I mean, the
Mhm.
illustrations in here are incredible.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And he's a self-taught artist.
Oh, what a jerk.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so cool. And see, he just stuck with it. I feel like that's my main focus as an artist, is to just like really cling on to one thing, just focus on that to like master it and then die a happy wizard. But I love all things, you know, but like that's such a nice consecutive group of work. Like you could be such an amazing mixed media artist and be all over the place, you know, but when you have like a nice group of work like that or collection of work, it's such more impactful as a theme because you see the whole variety of what you're trying to, you know, say with your work.
yeah, it's the
Ooh,
whole
that
body
one's-
of work. Which one?
Thank you. Yeah, that one, the lefty. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
all about the body
chunky,
of work.
dark.
Birds? Birds,
Mhm.
anyone? Birds?
Oh yeah, Megan, look at that bird. That's a nice bird.
Ooh.
She's doing birds right now.
Yes, I like the critters.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
a lot of it's very different than a lot of other stuff that you may normally see. It's definitely Art Nouveau, like neo trad style to a T. But he's got different areas, like these are more 4x3 paintings that he's done. Individual panels in a series.
Very. Very. I mean, yeah, he just went wild with that style. It's
And then
awesome.
some tattoo line drawings, you know, for inspiration, you know, and that's it. And it's in memory of his cat that passed away.
Oh my God, I love him even more. Here,
Yeah.
Jason, go back to that bird. Go back to that like really pretty little Art
Which
Nouveau
one?
bird.
This one?
Or no, the one with like the little tail. Well, that one does have a tail. There was like two that were on side to side.
These guys.
Oh yeah. Okay, Megan, look at that tail on the left. That is an Art Nouveau bird.
She's trying to teach me and I'm having a hard time.
Oh yeah, we just skipped Art Nouveau because I was like, okay, maybe this is just too much right now. We'll come back to it. But
Yeah, Art
like
Nouveau
how to
its
make a
own beast between graphic and illustrative. It's got elements of design mixed with realism. I mean, it's very, it's a beast of a totally different nature.
yeah.
Yes.
Fawn thankfully was like, Renee, oh my God, just skip it. I was like, okay. Like, what do I do? And she's not getting it yet. She's like, she won't, bro. I'm like, okay. So we're gonna come back around after a little bit more history of before Art Nouveau. Yes.
So,
But that book is
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. It was great.
Yeah. And it was relatively inexpensive too. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
How much are you charging for this? You could probably charge.
I want you
double
to
that if you bought it.
link me that info and I'll like repost it on the gram. Maybe Gabe will like put it in the comment section or something. So we
Yeah,
know
sure thing.
who that rad artist is. That guy's rad.
Hey, real quick, Jack, could you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you now. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, how's it going?
Feedback is I got it on. I got it on.
I guess your
I think-
audio mic is a little off. Are you on a phone?
No, hold on. I'll fix it.
I'm good. I thought it was just me for a second.
No, but I've always found that new little books like that can often bring about inspiration and can really allow you to start, kicking things up a gear and, really start driving
Oh,
you
yeah.
back in fine art area. So
No, it really does like shake off a little bit of the dust, like just seeing something so impactful like that, like can't not stimulate your brain. That's like I do have a library in my shop, and that was like my whole concept with it was to, if an artist is just feeling like losing its creative vibe for the day, they could like just go over and rattle their brains around, by looking up topics, looking up different things, just, exploring. Because I think all of us need that. It's like very like primordial to think of like we need to be digging around in the sand playing, but I think we really are, like we should be,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Because I'm such a collector. Oh my gosh. Like today we went through a store, and the only thing I really did find was like paintings, that were cool. Or usually I find books, and that's like the only thing I spend my money on. It's terrible.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And then we scored with the paintings today.
Mm-hmm.
Thrifting in Oakley C is like an event. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but it's like it's an event. It's like so good, but you're like looking through the scariest junk ever, but then you find like something that's like, how is this here? So today we were like, I was certain, this sounds really morbid, but that's me. I was pretty certain that some like artist in the area or some professor or something like either died or was just cleaning house, but there was so much real art, like real art prints that were finally framed for nothing, so like I was like, hey Megan, who is this artist? And she was like, oh, Gustav Klimt. I'm like, very good. Hey Megan, who's this artist? We saw Van Gogh, we saw Dali, we saw like Gustav Klimt. Who else did we see? Alphonse Mucha, Monet. Yeah, like I'm gonna go back tomorrow and buy the rest, because I've been like sitting here like, why did I only buy a couple of those? Like, but like, I don't know, that happens here. It's like incredible. I actually have an original Mucha 70s fine art, like New York special edition print thing that I got for like $25
What?
here. Yeah, like they don't realize that they've got cool stuff. So you like really make out, like you really find good shit. And I don't know, we needed a thrill today. So 3 of us left the shop and just went antiquing today. We're like, yeah, let's do it. It's Monday. Fuck it. Let's go. It was quite nice.
Very fun.
And I like antiquing too. Too much fun. Yeah, too much fun. But another reason with that too, as I see it very like art related, is because like you can find like finding good books. You can find like really cool things with really cool textures just by walking around antique stores or thrift stores. A lot of times I'll just, if I don't want to spend any money, I'll just go to one and like have to bring my phone and take pictures of like patterns, like they have funky, weird art there, and or pottery, or just anything that has texture, anything that has like pretty paintings on it. Like someone took the time to do it. Might as well, it should be good. And little adventures like that are, I think, good for the soul, especially when it's just been so like, I don't know, this summer's been a little daunting. I think it's just the heat and political stresses. So I think little trips like that are really healthy, like that, or to we have botanical gardens here. So we haven't took a stroll in a while though, Meg. We need to do that. And go feed the koi fish.
Yeah, would be
Mhm.
nice.
They're
I like
hungry.
to do that, but I like to go to the meter museum and just see all the
Ooh,
weird oddities,
yeah.
which
We have
I
the
think
yes.
we may be organizing, still in the works. No dates are set yet.
Woo.
But if anyone would be willing to come out for a guided tour of the Meter
Mhm.
Museum, Museum of
Mhm.
Medical Oddities in
Mhm.
Philadelphia, we may
Mhm.
be organizing a trip out to that for a guided tour, maybe some behind the scenes
Mhm.
access to some of their private collections.
Mhm. Mhm.
Might be cool, might be fun.
That is cool. Actually, I've done it once, and it's really cool. I've had like the whole behind the scenes. There's a lot of extra stuff that they've got behind closed doors, and it's really worth it. It's really cool. I got to do that years ago, though. I bet they've got a lot of new stuff back there.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those people where I'm actually debating on and trying to figure out how I can go through and do it. But after, I pass away, assuming it's not in some kind of, horrible way where my skin gets damaged, I would actually like to will them all of my tattoos for preservation purposes.
Oh, I would go visit you.
Yeah.
Like that's grandma's
Complete
old
with
friend.
credits to the artists that did it, materials that were used.
Mhm.
Should anyone have any
Mhm.
issues or questions with, oh man, I wonder what, what type of ink that was that they were using way back then. It's like, oh, well,
Oh
here's,
yeah, that's
he
true.
even lists, like what was used as far as the liner grouping, and that's how it aged over, X amount of years. Because I'm meticulous with that kind of stuff. I ask every artist
Oh
who
my
ever
gosh, that's
tattoos
so
me
meticulous.
every single possible conceivable question I can think of. So
Of course. I
that's
mean, do you like
also,
keep a journal log? I would. Of your
I
own? Like,
used to, but lately I've just been memorizing it.
oh my gosh, you can't count on that.
So
We're old.
I know.
I mean, I'm old. I'm old. Let me rephrase that.
Listen, we're probably the same age.
But I mean, in spirit and
Oh, in spirit,
brain
I'm still
capacity.
16.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 65.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm like, but darling, your memory. Oh, that's just me. No, that actually would be really fun, just so you can like really keep track of like you are the experiment on this.
Exactly.
I'm sure ink companies would love that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out the specifics behind it though. So.
Oh yeah. Well, if you want to, I was going to say, if you wanted your bones articulated, we do have the Osteology Museum here in Oklahoma City, and they will totally build you if you'd like.
Will they make me bigger, faster, stronger?
Faster, stronger. Maybe. You don't know. You gotta ask.
True.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But no, I'm down for like more little trip vacations. Like doing the convention's been, I'm back there on the field, as they say, maybe. And woof, they are kicking my butt. Like you guys have been with me like through the COVID things and stuff. Like this is the first time I've really ventured out consecutively, and it is truly like I get exhausted now, where I used to just kind of
number.
Oh my gosh.
You do a number.
Yeah, I just keep like kind of shaking my head at myself and like, it's all right. You'll get through this one day. You got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so far so good. I'm thinking I'm being a little kinder to myself though. Like, I'll do like a show and then if I won't necessarily do a guest spot right after that, but if I know if I have like a chill spot where I can like paint and like relax, before I go home, then that'll be cool. Like I think that that'll be fine. Like you mentioned to me something might happen right after my New York convention. And I was like, oh yeah, I can teach and stuff. That's fine. Like it's not so bad on my body, even if my voice is hoarse, I can make it through. No problem. So I'm being a little kinder to myself. But I think that's what it's all about, is like figuring what your good pace is. And I think about this too, like, I don't think it's just the COVID. I think honestly, 2 years went by. And we're all a little, aged spicily over the last 2 years. So I don't know, Jason, are you doing any shows coming up?
As of right now, I've got Resurrection Island in October.
Mhm.
And then Puerto Rico in December. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to be able to make it over to Paris in November.
Ooh, yes.
Because Paris is still kind of up in the air for me right now.
Yeah, all overseas stuff. How do you feel about overseas stuff? I'm kind of
I love overseas stuff. Oh, so we just had someone comment in the YouTube.
Mhm.
Mike Cole said,
hey.
starting to look good.
Oh,
So,
sick. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Thank you.
venturing overseas. Even if I don't work at the show,
Mhm.
I just like going for the exposure to different artists and different ways
of
that they
that.
do things. What's their process like? Because different
Mhm.
areas have different standards by which they, are forced to abide. The EU's got a different set of regulations than, say, Australia, right? So
Mhm. Yeah.
I just like that exposure, because to me, it's just all about knowledge gained.
Mhm. Exactly. That's what I feel too. I think unfortunately all the places I want to go overseas right now is like potentially in war or going to be. So I feel like I've got some fire under my butt to get over there before it gets real weird. And I have like all these little events that we're gonna, like right now, I'm in Prague, guys. I was supposed to go to Kyiv as well. But I just never took it off my calendar. So I gave myself like a little vacay, because I was like, well, all right, why not? It's a little cheaper than going all the way over there, but it's giving me the time to kind of focus and like, work on drawings and stuff like that for sure. But I know I feel like I feel like I'm cursed. Like every single time I want to go somewhere, something really weird happens, or something really
So-
weird happens when I'm there and I have to leave.
If that's the case, I don't ever want to go to New Zealand or Japan or
I've
anything
been
like
there.
that
That's been
until I
great.
go. Until I go.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I-
Okay. Well,
I
I mean,
don't
I
want
did get
anything
denied
like that to
once for
happen.
New Zealand. I did. I got sequestered at the LAX, and they questioned me for like 2 hours. And yeah, I was interrogated. It was fun.
Really?
It was really fun. No, it was not fun.
I was
But
going to say that's
it was an
odd.
experience. It was really odd, but they thought I was odd. And so I just had to explain to them that my life was odd.
Oh,
And
yeah, fair enough.
right. And then finally they like got it and I could go the following year. But it took a lot to like make a country realize, no, my life is just fucking weird. And that's basically what it took. No, New Zealand is really quite terrified of people just like abusing them. So get your ducks in a row 100% if you're gonna go. If not, just go under an alias so you don't have to deal with any of it. Because they will look at your social media, they will look at other people's social media. They will make sure 100% that you not only check out but seem reasonable going into their country. So,
Good to know.
Yeah. Don't even have business cards on you. Like, don't have anything.
Really?
Yeah. Don't do it.
Huh.
Yeah. Just
Okay,
don't
then.
do it. Scotland too. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know, don't do it. And even if you have a work visa, don't do it. Just don't even like have to go down that road.
Good to know. I'll
'Cause,
probably
I
hit
don't know,
you
I
up
feel-
because I might be working at a show out there in
Mhm.
March. I
Yeah,
was invited
definitely.
to I got an invitation to a show out in New Zealand for March. So I was debating on whether or not to go there.
Is it
And
the
so
Plymouth
far I
one?
haven't really, what?
Is it the Plymouth one?
No, this one's at Mount something,
That's Plymouth.
is it?
Yeah. That's on the North Island. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, North Island. I know it's not in Auckland.
No, it's like it's about 3 hours. No, I don't know. It's very hilly. So
Tattoo
if you're on a
Hui
map,
Aotearoa or something like that. Which
or
will
Tura,
Mount Ganui. Mountain Ganui.
sure, sure.
Mountain Ganui. Yes. I'm
Yep.
butchering
Yes.
that, but
Yeah, it's
but
great.
it looks pretty cool. They've got like a lot of really cool
No,
people that are
yeah,
going to be there.
go.
Well, I mean,
Mhm.
I'll go. I'm just praying I'm not going to get detained at the airport. You got me a little paranoid now.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, especially everything going on. Like they just opened up their borders to people. So I'm sure that
Yeah.
they're super hyper alert. So just make sure you have your work visa shit together, or like don't advertise that you're going, and don't bring like anything with you that looks like it. Like I always ship my stuff over early anyways, because you just don't know.
Right.
So I know it's expensive, but it does help, you know. Um, or even if there's like a tattoo shop out there that can help you bring some supplies, that's also like really helpful. So you don't have to bring everything international, because that's a long flight too. Like imagine all your inks exploding on a 20-something hour flight, you know?
So I've got kind of traveling internationally down pretty well by now.
Yeah.
I won't bring anything with me that's disposable. I'll
Mhm.
buy it all there. That way I don't have to worry about weight in my case. I don't have to worry about, okay, well, disposable razors. Do I really need to bring that with me? No, of course not.
No.
There's going to be at least one supplier there that I can buy disposable razors from. Gloves,
Well,
leave those at home.
Yeah, leave those at home. Well, even like clothes, I tell people that all the time. Like, you don't need to bring a huge suitcase when you travel internationally, because there's a fucking H&M everywhere. Like you don't have to like bring your life, because the rest of the planet's pretty Americanized. So yeah, there were some ointments though that they didn't have in New Zealand that I thought was strange. What they didn't have like Maticide that was really available. So I would bring like Maticide wipes and put them in small like Ziploc bags and bring those with you, because they don't have the same medical standards that we do. And that I could not find on both islands. Maticide, Decide, anything. They had literally rubbing alcohol, and that was it.
Really?
So even those Opti wipes, you can like put those in those little Ziploc bags and bring those. Make sure you bring something that won't fry. Well, you're just bringing battery packs with your machines, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. But if you have anything to plug in, make sure you bring a good converter. Like not just the plug-in, but also like, and this is for everyone else too. Make sure you bring a good power converter, so you're not I killed a couple of things.
Did you?
Like, whoops! I killed my chi. Yeah.
Oh,
They're expensive. I know. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I did it like it just took 2 seconds. I was like, oh shit. But what else? What else? You have machines and stuff like that. I know it's scary,
always bring those
but
with
like
you.
Yeah, bring those with you, but also bring like some cheap backup, like just mail it there, you know, in case you get your machines detained. Like when I travel internationally, I don't bring my nice stuff. I'm just not going to do it. You
So
know,
anytime
anything can
I
happen.
travel and I have to fly anywhere, my machines are always kept in my carry-on. They're not in my checked baggage,
Mhm.
just because I
Oh,
want to make
no,
sure, like,
no, no,
that's my lifeblood. Like, that's not something I'm willing to sacrifice. So like,
Oh,
that's
no,
with
you
me
gotta
at
like,
all
yeah, you
times.
gotta verbally protect your machines.
Absolutely.
Or,
Without those, you have no
yes,
way to make money.
or
And if you
mail
have no way
them.
to make money, just grab some
You're
tongue
screwed.
depressors and a couple of needles and start taping that thingy and, you know, make
Yep.
a sign that says hand poke only.
Yep. Perfect. Yep. Well, yeah, and the same thing, like the reason why I don't know, I just don't bring anything that's worth too much value. I mean, I'm a little crazy when I travel overseas. That's where I really do try to hike and things like that. So I imagine myself like, who knows? I could, you know, go under a waterfall. Who knows? Like I might be stranded in a city overnight and just somehow truck it through. Like I think I've walked all over New Zealand, to be honest. I've done my Hobbit tour because,
That's awesome.
you know, I just like to pack light and go at it by foot if I can, because it's fucking scary to drive on the other side of the road. If you have never done it, it's scary. But I suggest you do it and like, you know, try it, get it over, you know. But I don't know. It's like little things you don't think about when you're just like, oh, I'm going to go travel and explore. You're like, actually, there's a lot of like weird little responsibility things you got to think about
Oh, absolutely.
when you got to really like, you know, read a travel guide and see what's rude, what's not rude. That's also a really important thing. Like, make sure you're not being a dick to the locals. So read what that is because everywhere is different. Everyone has like totally different standards. And I was really lucky the first time I went. I had friends, you know, that like kept an eye on me because I like kept getting hit on by all these bartenders and I didn't know why. And they were like, Renee, you keep fucking tipping them. I'm like, yeah, what do you not do that? So you know, I was popular with the bartenders for a little bit, but it was also really creepy. And you just want to make sure that you're doing anything you possibly can, especially if you're staying with people. Like New Zealand, particularly, is really, really like open armed to like couch surfing and homesteading. That like they'll like, and well, they have homesteads where people will open their doors to strangers for like work to have like a couch or a bed to sleep in, you know, a little bit of food. So if you want to like travel really cheaply and see the whole country, you can do that. But you can't do that if you're just, you know, being rude and unaware of it.
Yeah, I'm
So
always an advocate of if there's someone I don't know, I'm going to be overly polite because I don't know who they are. And if you don't know who someone is, don't take the risk. Be polite, be respectful, be nice. You know, don't take that risk because you don't know who they are. Could be a CEO. Could be could be, you know, someone pretty high up in the government that you accidentally bump into. Could be a Hollywood
or
movie
just
star.
someone with an opinion, you know, just someone with an opinion that is going to tell you what their opinion is, and you're having a hard day and you don't want to hear it. So just be nice. Sometimes I over enunciate just to make sure they can't tell what my accent is, so they don't know I'm an American because I don't feel like having that conversation. So, and I have a backup of who I am. Also, this is a real thing since we are American, and you know, I might be wrong. I don't know how we're being talked about right now, but I'm sure it's interesting. But I like to say that I'm Canadian, and I have a whole backstory of like where I live in Canada, and because I've been to St. John's, Newfoundland so much that I like know the area really well, and when I know like, so that's my go-to. I can usually sniff out, you know, an American hater, and I just say it like proudly, like, "Hi, my name's Rachel, and I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland," and they're like, "Oh yeah."
It's like, oh, okay. You're
Oh,
not one
okay,
of those
cool.
people. Yeah.
Those people, like, well, girl, for a second we thought you were American. I'm like, oh, no. And just have to kind of blend in. So you just gotta make it back home. That's the goal. Just make it back home.
Yeah, especially if you're traveling alone. It's always
Uh-huh.
good to have something like that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my go-to. I've traveled alone my entire career, basically. And I don't know, there's a lot of like weird little things that I found myself doing just out of like the necessity to live, like not being sure of a situation or picking up dramatically what the situation was and thinking back to myself as a little apprentice, just sitting there terrified, like in a room full of crazy tattooed people and going, how did I deal with that? And I go, oh, I can adapt to this. This is fine. And so I think tattooers are great, like to travel independently. Like we have the skills, especially if you ever worked in Philly or Florida or,
Yeah.
like you have the skills, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. If you can survive in those places, you're pretty well set.
Yeah. Actually, my apprentice used to work on 6th Street in Austin.
I did.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She survived.
I survived
So-
years of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of there's a soft gentleness to beautiful Oklahomans, which I love. But sometimes I find it like, well, I mean, there's just going to be certain states I'm not going to take you to if I do conventions because you'll not handle it well. But I know that I can take her pretty much anywhere because she's seen enough bullshit that she won't be shocked. Basically. Yay, you're welcome.
Yay.
So Renee,
Yes.
Renee, can I ask you a few
Yes.
technical questions
Yes.
about what you're painting? Just trying to stay back on topic about paint night and all that stuff.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because we do tend to get sidetracked every single time we have conversations about like.
I think
all
it's
the
pretty
different
great, to be
things.
honest.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, right now I'm just
I love it,
I'm just
but,
letting
you know.
I'm just letting it go today because I'm like, you know what? It's been a really long time and shit has been weird. So let's check it out. But typically, yeah, ask
Yeah.
away.
So do you usually build cool to warm? Because I've noticed you've been doing that quite a bit this evening.
Mhm.
So I didn't
I
know if
try
you
to
like block in
do-
your cools first and then go into your warms, or if there was any specific methodology that you're using.
I was actually doing a lot of background. I like to make the shape of the bird with the background first. And since he's just, I'll say if I'm really trying to get some high contrast going, then yeah, I was working with my tools in the background to really make sure that all these nice golden yellows and browns that I'm going to be doing really pop out. But there's like dark places of the bird as well. So my method tonight was very much, let's get the background like in there and nice and muddled and dark and like all the cool tones I could possibly use. I will use some midtones here and there to kind of break it up a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm waiting for that layer to dry. Yeah, right now I'm like waiting for my background to dry in some areas. I'm just gonna put this first layer on the bird, and then when that's drying, then I'll come back and work in some midtones, and then come back. So I'll be in and out of my background and my foreground, just playing with drying times, and that's kind of how I keep myself moving while things are drying. Because I know people are like, "Oh, I hate watercolor because it just dries so like it takes forever," but I have a lot of fun with it, and if something's still wet, then I like really look at it and see if I can like kind of clean my brush off, dry it off really well, and then go in and like maybe make some weird like highlight or something with the loose paint, like it's still loose. I can still make some like little fun with it. So why not? That's I think my personal love about watercolor is that once you get really used to it, you can play with drying times and play with just like these puddles of pigment and little textures that they form by applying the water at a different time, applying your brush at a different time. Like the timing is really just as important of how much water and how much pigment you put down. And that's kind of like how I approach, I think, most of my watercolors.
Interesting.
Oh, and I saw right
Have you
here.
ever used a hair
Interesting. How
dryer?
do you? I have, and a heat gun. I have a heat gun.
Okay.
It's I like the heat guns. They don't push the air
Quite
as
as
much
much
as the blow
air.
dryer. Yeah. So if you really want to keep these nice even still blotches of like downward gravity, you know, something that's not sliding to one side, I really do prefer heat guns. But I'm just a realist, you know. I like to count on my intuition of timing and letting the gods allow me, the painting gods, of course, let them dictate like when I can get going. You know, sometimes I think watercolor allows us to take a break and to look at our paintings and stop and take a breath and put down a very intentional move is what I mean. Like I can paint acrylic all day and just keep going and kind of overwork a painting. But with watercolor, you have to slow down. You know, you have to be like, oh, well, do I really want to put that mark there? Do I really?
Right.
Yeah. It like makes me slow down. Do I have to? No, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, where I've got oil paintings that everyone here has been watching me paint for the last 2 years. You know, they will be done though one day. Yes.
Now,
So,
do you clear coat after the fact?
oh, no, I don't. I'm real weird.
Okay.
I put them in between like a very nice paper, and I put them in a folder and keep them nice and pressed. And I keep them that way so I can scan them whenever I need to make really nice prints. If I clear coat it, I've always battled still with like little shines, little just like little things that I didn't. I love that matte look to my watercolor. You know what I mean? Like I love that. And I find too, like I don't need to coat it with anything if it's just preserved in like a good archived paper. And
Right.
because I usually keep these for archival purposes, or I frame them in archival glass.
Okay.
And I send
That
them
was
to
going to be
a
my
friend's
next
mom.
question. For those that you do
Mhm.
frame, do you put them behind UV resistant glass to keep the colors from fading?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
I've
Yes,
noticed
and-
that a lot of watercolor artists will either go that route or they'll go the completely opposite route and they'll get like a matte clear and that has like some type of UV resistant coating mixed in with it just to keep those colors vibrant.
Right. It's such a double-edged sword to me because you can either have some dulling, you can have some weird mutation of that sealant over time, and like give it like an overall tinged look where like an oil painting or acrylic painting, I know how to clean, but like a watercolor painting, you're pretty fixed once you fix it, get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Megan asked me why that was funny later. So yeah, I am a very much a truist. I want my painting to just be the pigment in the paper and let it, you know, decompose that way. And I'll keep it. I have like these drawer systems at the studio that we use pretty often for like everything, really. And once, yeah, like, I don't know, I have like, they're big wide drawers. So I can put like really, really big, like, you know, big size, like the 17 by whatever paintings. And like, I can put like pretty large prints in to let them just stay there and live, you know, in peace. And then the prints is really where I will take time and color matching and making sure that they're like pretty much exact. You know, like sometimes I'll like find a painting that I love drawing somewhere and be like, is this a print or, oh, this is the painting. Like sometimes it's hard for me, especially since I keep them so flat. I'm like, is this the original? Because I use really similar paper too. So yeah, it's kind of funny sometimes. But that's usually how I show my bird paintings or my there's only one lady that has like the bird paintings, and that's my best friend's mom. And she's got some originals in her house, but that's it. No one else will have them. I just feel like I really like, they're like my masters, you know, and I can make copies
Right.
from them whenever I need. And I mean, yeah, because I mean, we can lose a digital file of something, but these are not only my joys, but these are my money makers if I need be, you know, and I want to
Right.
have that original true copy so I can keep making really good prints of them.
Well, I think it also goes to show that, you know, you're creating a body of work. And that's
Yeah.
something that's not very often talked about, being tattoo artists,
It's
where,
hard.
you know, most of the artwork that we create is on a living person. We don't really have that to show unless we take really, really good photographs of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I know every now and then I'll completely space out and like I will completely forget to take pictures of things. So
Mhm.
for me, it's like, okay, well, how am I going to show a body of work when I don't even really have photographs of certain things? But by holding on to the originals,
Right.
anyone that comes in, say it's an art dealer or an art gallery that you want to do a showing at, and they're like, okay, well, let's take a look at your body of work. You know, and
Yeah,
if
and
you
you're
don't
like,
have any of those originals and all you
I
have
don't-
are the digital versions, you're like, so
Mhm.
these are scans. They might
Yeah.
not be totally. Oh no. The blue in that one is far more vibrant. You really should have seen the original.
Right.
Oh,
You really
let me
should
give
have
them a
seen the
call and I'll
original.
see. I'll see if I can get a
Yep.
hold and see if I can get that back from the person that purchased it. You know.
Yep. No, exactly. I'm glad you like brought that up that way, because that's really what happened with my like octopus paintings, is that I have this huge collection, and then after I like showed it once, I just sold it. And people are like, oh, how long have you been painting octopuses? I'm like, a long time. And they're like, oh, well, where's your body of work? I'm like, I could show them, I guess, decent photos that I could take at that time, you know? Like shit, the only copies that I have of some of my paintings are on slides from
Yep.
high school, you know, because that's what we had. We had slides. We didn't have like high digital quality photos, you know. We had like fucking slides.
I remember those days.
I know, I showed Megan the other day. I was like, look at these. This is
Yes.
how the past used to work. Yeah. And she saw like a huge collection of my paintings that she would have never even known existed, because I've sold all of them, you know. So I think the birds, I've just decided to keep these. And yes, like over time, maybe when I'm say, you know, fuck birds, I'm done with birds. Then maybe I'll sell them as a whole, like as a collection. But
Right.
for now, I'm just very, very content with just keeping them, because the originals they're beautiful. I really love them. Like they make me really happy. So maybe I'll just keep them for myself, and then
And
everyone else can have the
with,
pen.
you work mostly with pan and tube watercolors, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
dabbled with
I love
liquid
the liquids.
watercolors at all?
I have. I don't.
Don't like them?
I like the texture of paint. I like the texture of like knowing that I can control the viscosity and thickness of my paint. I
Okay.
can scoop it up if I want a richness. If I can just tap it if I need a light one. I can just, you know, I can control it better, hands down. Where the liquid watercolor would be great if I just had those like pens, you know, like the little sweetie ones. Because I have a couple of those, and I like it for certain things. Like if I'm just like out and about and I want to make sketches, I'll bring my black and gray one and a clear for smudging, or like a one tone. But I used to just use, you know, my Dr. Martin's inks for those, which I mean is basically like liquid watercolor, yeah.
Dr. Martin's? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Dr.
I mean,
Martin's, that's
you,
what I
but-
usually use. So that's why I was
Mhm.
curious. I mean, I
Oh,
don't have
okay,
them in
okay.
pen form, but like I've got the little dropper bottles, and
Mhm.
you know, some are the radiant watercolors, some are the hydrous, some are the spectralite. I usually stick to the hydrous because they are light fast, so I know that the colors aren't really going to
Mhm.
fade over time. And that's
Mhm.
something I'm constantly forgetting about. I'm like, well, if I'm not going to clear coat it, I want to make sure whatever it is I'm using is going to be light fast. So which ones
Oh,
were
yeah.
light fast again? By light
Oh,
fast
it's
for
hard. I
anyone-
actually,
oh yeah. I was going
I'll
to say
have a,
for
I
anyone
have
that's
a
watching
painting. Mhm.
that doesn't know what light fastness is, that's how quickly under direct ultraviolet light those pigments are going to fade and break down.
Mhm. Yes.
So
And if you're curious about, it's easy to do a study of that with your liquid watercolors. I would highly suggest it because I do have a painting that shows what happens with a lot of that, like all of the purples, a lot of some of the greens just disappeared. But you have to consider also tattoo pigment doing the same thing. And me and Jason got to see Jesse Smith's seminar on how he did the light fastness for Eternal.
yep.
Yep. Okay, thank you. I was like, Eternal Fusion. One of those.
Futurnal.
Eternal.
Yeah. You know that company.
Yes, that one. That one we know. Yeah, which is I think really valuable. And I started one a while ago, and it's just been sitting there. I'm just waiting because I want to see what it is for industry inks. So I'm just, I'm a patient. I'm very impatient, so that's why I think that's funny. My little patient self. But it is like I think everyone should, especially with the colors that you like the most, your strongest colors that you use the most. Like I have a couple colors that I always use in my tattoos. I really want to make sure those ones are going to be the ones that are going to last. And then I'm just not like covering people with stuff that's going to like need to be retouched up in 5 years compared to 20 years.
Right.
Because that's the comparison. Like everyone, I think, will eventually, if they really want their tattoo to look sparkling perfect every day, everyone's going to need a touch up eventually, right? Or I like the enhancement session.
Right.
Right. But I mean, but when, like if you're doing it within 5 years, oof, that's either like you're getting too much sun exposure or, that ink is just not as strong as it could be for you,
Right.
Right. So
That's why
I don't know.
I started doing a little bit of research into things and talking to a few people that use different brands.
Mhm.
Keeping in mind that I am a huge advocate and absolutely love industry. That's all I used to use literally for every single color, for everything, from their everyday black, their white, everything. Like that was my go-to. I know
good.
Matt and Eric really, really well. They're great guys. They're actually based
yay.
about 45 minutes away from where I live. So I've been known to take trips up there randomly and go up there and pick up colors and, chat with them for a bit, getting to know a lot of like the back end science behind it, which is awesome.
Yes.
And I started to incorporate some of the raw pigments, and started talking to, someone that I know that works for raw, and they assured me
someone we all know that.
Yeah. Well, I try not to, name drop too much, but
that person we know.
That person that's super helpful.
Oh, yeah.
She's probably gonna watch the replay.
Yeah.
No, she was earlier, but yeah. So Lauren, if you're watching, you're the best.
Thanks, Lauren.
Given the actual like pigment codes, the dry pigments that are being purchased and used to make these things, which certain companies will freely say like, hey, this is what we use. You want to know what orange we use? here's the actual pigment code so
Mhm.
you can look up all the specs on it. And
Which
you
is
know, I
like,
did.
can you imagine someone doing that 10 years ago? That wouldn't even happen.
Absolutely not. That was such
No.
highly secretive information. It was ridiculous.
Classified. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
classified to
remember
the
my
top
boss,
order.
yeah, taking off his labels off his ink so no one would know. I'm like your clients. And he's like, yeah, not even them. And I was like, okay.
It's like, okay, buddy. All right, that'll be your little secret.
Okay. Like, you couldn't tell because by the shape, it was obviously eternal back then in moms, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. But it was highly classified. Like, to know how to make pigment was highly classified. I learned how to make pigment in a dark, scary dive bar with my coworker, and he was all hush hush, me and my notepad, and he's going over the things, and I'm like, my God, why does this feel so like back alley right now? Like, because it was like,
Yeah,
he
that's
was
the way
he was
that people
taking,
used to survive. That was their secret.
yeah. Hmm. And
You
he
know,
does.
like-
He makes the black and gray wash. He does, and he's real nice.
Yeah, but you know,
But
after
that,
talking
yeah, that
to
was a
Lauren about it and doing my own homework, like a lot of those pigments, tattoo pigments are, you know, maximum light fast, which is awesome.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
you know, and then doing a comparison, I know industry uses a lot of the same base pigments as well.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if you go to look at that, you know, light fast sheet 6 months in, a year in, 2 years in, and nothing's changed at all. That would not surprise me at
Exactly.
all.
Exactly. Well, I guarantee a lot for my clients and within my studio. I've actually had to talk about that quite a lot lately. Like, I guarantee anyone that comes in my studio a certain amount of things. So if I can actually guarantee that with science, you know, or like give some justification of like, if it doesn't work, I can be like, well, this is like 1 in a million. Let's solve it though. But like, if there's actually science that I believe in, then surely my client will believe in as well. You know, that's
Right.
not just, it's actual science. And that's the one
Yeah.
thing I feel like I've been fighting with my entire career, except that until I met you guys. You guys are rad.
Aw.
But like, hey guys, it doesn't matter if that famous person uses it. Does it work? You know? Does it actually have science that says it holds up? Because that's what I need to hear to believe it. You know, I'm a hard sell. What can I say?
Yeah, I like to do all of my own independent research. And, you know, I've
Mhm.
always been raised with the whole concept of trust but verify. You know, so I may trust something,
Oh.
but I'm going to verify it on my own, you know. So
Exactly. Oh,
it's
I just love
absolutely.
hearing like sales pitches to like aftercare and stuff. Oh, I will
Oh, I
debunk
love
people's
that.
aftercare left and right, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be rough. But you know, I've like, one day I will make not necessarily tattoo aftercare, but a skincare, and I've done my research enough to where I know what words they're saying, and sometimes they'll just throw keywords out there like Doritos bags will, like extreme, you know. Um, and I'm like, stop saying that. What is the value of this? You know, just because it's organic doesn't mean we should be putting it on our wounds, you know.
Right.
And I'm pretty
Salt is
fiery about it
organic.
because I'm allergic to everything. Yeah, salt's
Salt
organic.
is organic. You don't want to put that in an open wound. So is dirt.
No.
Dirt's organic.
Yep, delicious.
Dirt.
Healing properties of dirt. There was, oh man, yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I can honestly not even tell you how many aftercare companies have come up to me in the years that I've been tattooing. You know, just saying like how many people are trying to come out with the next miracle cure, the next snake oil to really like consume the masses. You know,
Oh,
I mean, I'm on
absolutely.
it. I want to do it, but
I mean,
absolutely,
I can't blame them for trying. I can't blame them for
I can't blame
trying.
them for trying. No,
You
not
know?
at all.
And we all have our own, you know, methods that we recommend, that we've tested, that we know work well, you know, so.
Well, and that's it too, right? Like everyone's different. So if you have something that works and fucking works, cool. Like I think variety is good because we are all so different. but I definitely don't think there is like one to save the world or nothing like that.
Absolutely not. If
Yeah,
there
so
was, then we would all be the exact same person.
yeah. Ugh. Or there's definitely some people that wish we were right now.
True.
I'm not going
Very
to get
true.
too political. Are we?
Yep.
Are we going to get
Oh,
political today?
I'm right there
mean-
with you though. Just know that I stand with you. You know,
I'm on a nice
we've had this
edge.
discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not real. Okay, you guys know I'm an Aries, right? But I'm not feisty necessarily.
Oh, right,
Um,
right. You're not feisty
Gabe-
at all, ever. Uh-huh.
Gabe got to see me get
going.
feisty. Is Gabe still here?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in the background
Um,
somewhere though.
He's somewhere doing something. Yeah, he saw me get feisty. I think really for the first time, like really, really feisty, and he just loved it. It was a joy. But I'm a little feisty right now. I have to say, I'm a little, not a little. I'm pretty disappointed that these things are happening while there's all these other things that are actually crises. And I have a completely different belief system than these people. So I'm kind of like, fuck, I live here. Shit. And they hate me. Like, oh, this hasn't happened in history before, like, but it's just really unfortunate, like my family immigrated here from Romania. So didn't think that I would have to immigrate somewhere too. But I mean, maybe that's just the way of things. Maybe we are nomadic, but now we have to be like greater nomadic, because oh shit sucks. You're not gonna stick around for it, like I'm a
Lord knows
single.
it, if it takes another 50 years to correct the problem,
It
I'm
will.
probably
Like,
going to be
yeah,
gone by then.
all of those fucking court justices look real healthy. It's gonna take a really long time. What was I gonna say? It was something
Well,
terrible.
I
It's
don't
probably a
think
good thing I don't
they
say
might be as healthy as you think they are.
it. Well, I just saw someone posted
without-
all their addresses online. I'm like, whoa,
Damn.
dang. Yeah, I'm like, oh, and it just said Merry Christmas, and it was all their addresses, or the ones that voted for it. Oh, I'm like, well, that's a way.
That's one way to do it.
That's intense.
I was
That's
going to say,
one way.
I've recently been, after my trip up to Canada, up to Calgary for the Deadly Tattoo
Mhm.
Convention, which was incredible,
Oh
by the way.
yeah. Oh yeah, I want to know how that went.
Oh man, that was an absolute blast. To say it was
Yeah.
inspirational would be the understatement of my lifetime.
Oh, good.
It was like a solid 90% of the artists that I really admire in the world, all in one room.
Mhm. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just, it was
Yeah.
absolutely motivating, to say the
Dude,
least.
Canada's like that. Like,
Yeah,
Canada's got
that's what
so
I'm
many
finding
killer
out.
freaking artists. Yeah, it's like, God, Canada, you're kind of kicking ass
Yeah, they
Canada
have
sounds
been for
hot.
quite some time.
right. Oh no, they really have. Yeah, no, they really have.
I mean, look at
Did you see James Tex or did you see?
yeah,
Cool.
the James Tech Steve Moore collab.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I actually have a better video than what they posted of that. If you want me to go through and share it, I'll be happy to.
Oh yeah, just make a little clippy.
Yeah, me
To
pull it
those
up.
people who don't know who those people are, they should go look them up.
So whoever is the host, Kyle,
Kyle,
if you could just allow sharing.
Kyle, are you there? Let's see.
Kyle, can you hear us?
Kyle. Oh no, maybe they're both.
They might have stepped away. Let me send them
Oh,
a text real quick.
Gabe's taking care of business, and Kyle is away as well. He might be in the bathroom. We've been abandoned. Well, I trust you, and because that just seems awesome. That just seems like I don't know. I've had an experience, a similar experience, being in Canada, but it was in Toronto, and that convention was just wild. And it was years ago. Like, that was the first time I ever saw like Erin Chance's work. She was there. I don't know, just a bunch of bio guys, and I was like, "What is this bio shit?" You know, I think it was like
Right?
the first 5 years tattooing. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I knew about Guy, I knew about, but like so many people were there doing it, and the realism was so real that I just kind of like was entranced, It was awesome. And it was good because I was finding myself in a weird, place. Like, I didn't know what I wanted with my career. I was 5 years in, like I could go all these different ways, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So my friends were like, hey, you should come and just like have fun.
Yeah,
I
just
did. It
go
was
hang
rad. It
out,
was
meet
one of the
people,
best.
talk to people, watch people
Yeah.
work, and
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
one thing
rad.
that like that blew my mind. I got to watch some of my absolute like, and I hate to put it this way, but my absolute idols working on massive pieces that were absolutely gorgeous the entire time. Phibbs and Jay Marceau did a 2-day collab. It was 15 hours total, and absolutely covered the back of this girl's legs, both legs, start to finish in 15 hours. And it is so
How are
solid.
people doing that? Oh, how are
I mean,
clients sitting for that?
these are guys that sit down and they're like, okay, this is what we're doing, and they do it. They don't mess around. They don't second guess. They've got their process down and memorized. They are, okay, this is what we're doing. Boom. And we're doing it.
Oh, I know,
You
but
know?
my clients will like start shaking, like at that point. Like, I feel like even with breaks and snacks and food and care, I feel like 15 hours is still like a very rare person who can do that. Because I have my
Absolutely.
people, but not everyone can do that. I don't
Well,
understand.
yeah, I mean,
I'm like, what are you guys doing?
when you break it down into 2 days back to back, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
there are certain things you can do to help ease the process a little bit. Obviously staying away from, anything like going out and having a few drinks that evening. That is not something, if you were a client and you were getting that much work done, you cannot do that. That is a big no-no. So, I mean, little things like, instead of going through, if you're doing Japanese waves and ISO bars or clouds and stuff like that, especially if you've got a very distinctive look like Phibbs does for a lot of his ISO bars, it was just all shading. There was hardly any outlines that were done, except for where he really wanted to make certain edges super crisp. So a lot of that was just going in with a 15 mag or a 19 mag and just going to town.
Busting out. I do that a lot as well with like my fields of color. I'll try to utilize as much negative space as possible, but like sometimes I'm like, okay, today we're just literally gonna have this one color in this one area, and then we're gonna move on. And then, and I like try to give them little presents. Like, I'll do like one really complicated area, and then for the rest of the day just be packing color,
Right.
Right, like mix it up a little bit. But I don't know, like I've had some interesting conversations with some clients. I'm like, hey, like, how are you doing this, because I just always think like, are you on drugs? What's happening? This is insane.
So I've been asked that question before a couple of times by people, because I've been known to sit in some not very fun spots for quite a while. And a lot of it has to do with, where is your mind? And it's something that I've noticed with a lot of different people that get massive amounts of work done in a very short period of time. Most of them have headphones in and they are putting their mind somewhere else. And that is just like the key to how they do what they do. If they can put their mind somewhere else and block out what's going on around them, it allows them to get into that kind of meditative state. And that's where you really start to notice that, it doesn't matter what area you're working on or how people are doing it. They are just in that zone and they are going to town.
Mhm.
I know that's what
Yeah,
I
for
do.
sure.
I get into sensory deprivation mode where I'll cover my eyes or close them.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll even go as far as put a t-shirt over my head
Oh
and
yeah, I always
throw
put
in
the hoodie over my head.
headphones. Yeah,
Mhm.
throw in some headphones,
Yep.
crank it up so you can't hear what's going on. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to my happy place. Tap me when we're taking a break.
Oh
And this
yeah.
is just what I'm going to do. And
Oh well,
that's what I
it's
do.
amazing, like leaning your clients that way too, that are, first timers, big getters. Like I have to coach them a little bit, and their mind is always so blown. They're like, no, I want to watch. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. Trust me, you
No, you
don't.
really don't. Trust me, you will for the first, and then the second, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I'll try this. I'll try it your way, and you're gonna see a massive difference. Yeah, because I don't know, I'm not really sure people realize the endurance of it, like the endurance needed to do it. It's like it's such a annoying, long-term annoying thing.
It is.
And yes, it's painful, but that doesn't mean that it's just like, oh, it's done and over. You're gonna go skipping back home. You're gonna feel like you got hit by a truck, and then you're gonna have to console with someone. And it's just like this big, I don't know, it's a very big deal to get tattooed for that long. It's a really big win. So I'm always very surprised. And those people out there, you're troopers, for the true tattoo collectors that just sit for days, if not hours, just to get your rad tattoo. It's really, really cool. I like soldiers of the world, they're pretty
Absolutely.
rad.
I think a lot of it also has to do with their breathing, and there's
Mhm.
different tricks and techniques to everything, obviously. But I find that,
Oh yeah, well, there's like different prep, and I think it's about finding like which one works for you the most.
right,
Like meals too. Like what fuel are you giving your body? What exactly, like how did you treat yourself? The night before, like all of those things take energy. So I don't know, I basically self-care like crazy before I get tattooed. Just to make sure I don't like get sick too, because I know if my immune system is being challenged, I could also get sick. So, because I'm a gentle flower. So I really am a baby when I get tattooed. I like self-care, but I can sit for an hour, like for 12 hours, I think has been my longest so far.
wow, I haven't even done
Yeah,
that. That is
I'm a
impressive.
beast. I'm a beast. Yeah, that's why I'm like, how are not fucked up people doing this? But I don't think for some reason, I just never end up with that much saturation that they do too. Like I can all see them at the point of like where the guy's doing like the white highlights or something. I would be like in thriving pain, and they're just sitting there. They're cool. I always just like get big pieces started and then little chunks worked on, and then eventually it's like, oh, it's done. Cool. Where they're getting like completed pieces, like that seems a
Right.
lot more painful to me than just like a several long session piece. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
look at some of these people's shows and I'm like, where the fuck are you guys doing this?
So that's actually something that I brought up when I was getting tattooed while I was up there
Mhm.
with the guy Chris who was tattooing me, and I was getting my stomach tattooed, and that is not a very pleasant spot.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like the most of the left side of my torso, so down even
Nice.
onto the top of my thigh. It was pretty intense, but it got to the point where it was like, okay, listen, I can get back into my happy place and my comfort zone and keep rocking. It's going to take a toll on you as well. So at
Mhm.
any point in time, if you want to stop for the night, just tell me.
Oh
You
yeah.
know? And because I've been in that position before where you're tired, maybe your neck's hurting or your back's hurting from sitting in a steel chair all day. I want to make sure that they're having a good time too. And it's better to take it in smaller chunks sometimes You know, I even told him
Oh,
flat out, it's like, listen,
absolutely.
if we get the outlines done, the black shading done, and maybe some of the color, I'll be happy. I don't have to, I'm not trying to go through to get the whole thing finished in one go. Could I? Yes.
Yeah, I'm
That's going to
never.
be too hell on you. That's going to be too much on you. And I'm not going to do that to you. If I have to
Yeah,
fly
I'm
back
like,
up here,
I
I
will
will.
fly to you. It's fine. Yeah, like I'm all about like, no, just get a good base started, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gives
like
me an
every
excuse
tattooer
to
I
take
think
another trip.
loves. Yeah, I think every tattooer really, I know that loves to tattoo that way. Like, let's start the foundations, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
But it's so much more gentle to your skin. It's like,
Yeah.
it lets the artist really concentrate too on every move that they make instead of just like trying to like get through something for a show, you know, which is also stressful no matter what.
Yeah, it allows them to really focus on the marks that they're making and, you know, what they want to put and where. You know?
Exactly. Because I mean, it doesn't matter if you're at a show and you're tatting and you're trying to get that tattoo in a contest. There's a little bit of you that's like gonna just be like, oh, I'll just do this real quick and that'll be good enough, you know, like not like, oh, that's like absolutely fucking perfect. Like I always like schedule a touch-up appointment, you know, with my convention people. Like I just want to see how that thing healed. Like the environment was weird. I'm a crazy path with my clients though. Even this little break has been driving me insane. Yeah, they're like my kin, you know. They're like indoctrinated into a cult. Yeah, they're in my cult.
Well, I mean, I'm in the cult, but I've never been tattooed by you, so.
No, well, you got to get tattooed by me.
Yes,
and then you got to watch my cats. And
my only thing is, I don't know where.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm running out of space quickly.
I know. I am too. Actually, that's why I'm like. I think I'm actually pretty much like everything's called for. So I'm kind of the same boat a little bit. Just like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but.
Well, I mean, I do have some things I want to get lasered, but you know, that's also so I can start taking more trips up to Canada to go and get more work done by different Canadian artists that I really admire. So I have become obsessed with Canadian artists.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, if we can't go see the Russian ones, you know, the Canadian ones are right there. And I feel like their realism is just dope.
Yeah, I've always been more of a fan of the illustrative Canadian tattooers, guys like Steve Moore, James Tax, Chris Dunn, Clint Dan Roth, Anne Marie, Christina Christie. You know, all those people are people that I look at their work constantly and I'm like, but how? How? Right?
Well, yeah, you know, I'm a fan of James Tax. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect.
I'm really excited because both him and his son Anthony are going to be down in Puerto Rico this year for the Puerto Rico show. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to reach out to them and see if I might be able to get some kind of like a father-son collab started on my back.
Oh, that'd be cute. How old is the son?
Early 30s, I think.
Oh shit, I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, maybe late 20s. I'm not positive.
Oh, that's cool.
But his work is impeccable.
Awesome.
You can definitely tell he's a student of the, and for lack of a better term, the Tex School of Tattooing.
Oh, yes.
So you can definitely see his dad's influence on it. But then you start to see other influences as well with the way he renders certain things. And it's like the next evolution. Like watching him knock out a kitsune at the Deadly Show was mind-blowing. With just how quickly he worked, how efficiently he worked, and everything like that. It was just
That's
awesome.
where it's at. Yeah.
Oh, so I am the host now. Kyle did give me host privileges, so I can go through and share that quick little video if you want me to.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you. Did they bail? Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Like,
if I
we're
can-
talking art talk. We need to go.
Who did? Oh, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle's paying attention in the background.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is pictures?
Yeah, anyone is always welcome to join in our crazy rantings on stuff.
Yeah.
If
You and
not,
I
the
just go
rantings will
off.
just continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will go perpetually until the end of time or until one of us falls asleep.
Well, I don't know about that. I get bored. I'm like, okay, all right.
There it is. All right, let's rewind and I'll share. So this was all done over 2 days or 3 days at the Deadly Show from start to finish.
Oh,
Ready?
gorgeous. What the hell? Yeah, what the
Both
hell?
thighs, start to finish. Steve Moore and James Tex.
Ugh,
I mean, just looking at the color palettes that were used.
yeah. That's wild. His stuff is so fun. Like his color
Yeah.
palettes are very, very like heavy metal-esque, you know, sci-fi thriller, like old world. I love it. It's classic. It's like classic fun. That's what I think the one thing he does bring to the table the most is his color palettes like really reminds me of like just a different time, you know.
Right? Yeah, there you can
Definitely that,
definitely
like-
see a lot more of that classic color scheme to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you think like Mumra is gonna come out and like fight one of those people, or like the old, like I just think of like the heavy metal comics, like
Yep.
evil wizards and dragons, swordplay. You know, classic.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Exactly.
Oh,
No, that's
wizards.
Oh, I mean, oh yeah, oh wizards. Megan also found my Boris Vallejo book the other day. Megan, what did you think of Boris Vallejo?
I am a huge fan.
It was beautiful. She was just like frozen in the library looking down. And I was like, oh, what'd you find? And then I saw his Vallejo. I was like, oh, yes.
Yep.
You were captivated.
Yes, I was. She like walked away for a minute and I was tasked with putting the books back in the library. And then I just saw like the cover and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah,
What
it's-
is this?
I think every tattooer has that moment where they stand back and they're like, wait a second,
Oh,
Boris who? This
Yeah,
stuff's incredible.
that
This
was
stuff's
exactly
cool.
it. I just like kept flipping
Yeah.
through them and I was like, what?
It makes you want to be an artist so fucking bad.
Yeah, like
Because
not
then
only
you have like
was
the
it-
power to make something like that.
Yeah, like it was just captivating. I couldn't explain it.
No, I mean that I think it does. Like it just, I don't know, it gives you so much wonder of what could be, you know, and all it takes is hard work. I'm a devout, as I'm here on my paint night, you know, like devout worshiper of the Bob Ross ideal that everyone can fucking paint. It just takes like hard work and effort and care
Self-discipline.
and forcefully self-discipline, self-motivation. You know, if you really, really want it, then you can do it. It's, you know, if I really wanted to, I could speak like 1,000 languages, but I really don't want to. I really want to be an amazing artist. So I just keep at it and you get better and better and better. And then you find what you're trying to say through your art somehow. And he provoked the inner child in us all of fantasy and wonder and like made a whole universe, which is wonderful. And I know that's how I think about art, is like, what am I trying to say to these people that are going to look at it later on? At least I got to make it till I like it. And then hopefully the other people like it. Hopefully. If they don't, well, I mean, oh yeah, when we went antiquing, we also found all these like plein air paintings. And I was like, oh man, is this my future? I'm like, no, because I will be the best plein air painter in the universe. But I mean, even still, like, how cool would it be to start collecting all the plein air paintings you find at thrift stores and like finding out who did them and then seeing what their intentions were, and like finding history on them. And I thought about this all today. I might do it.
It's like the guy that found an original Albrecht Dürer etching that was brought over, and he bought it for $30 at a yard sale. And he turned around and he sold it for almost 20 million.
Yeah. Oh my God. That'd be cool. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I have a painting right now that I actually in the gallery that I had just had because I inherited it from when my grandma and grandpa passed. And it's been in my family forever. And me and my cousins always just thought it was super creepy because it's a rather good painting, but it was just like very ominous and still, and like no one ever told us like who the painter was or anything like that. So I actually found him, and I can't think of his name. It's very Dutch, and he's pretty like famous, like plein air painter of like cabins and stuff like that. And just looking at his work, I was like, oh my God, this guy's so creepy. But it was perfect, like just knowing that my grandparents had really good taste, basically. But I know there's some joy. It's like almost like artwork investigating, like even since I've built the gallery, and Megan has helped me so much. It's been really hard to find out who's painted what, because no one puts their fucking names on it. And I'm like, I get it. You want to have like your signature and it'd be cool and mysterious, but when someone's really trying to like let people know who did your work, like just fucking put your name on it somewhere, anywhere.
I guess that's why I'm a little different. I always sign mine in
Mhm.
triplicate. So I'll sign it once on the border, once inside the actual painting, kind of like hidden, super tiny. And then I'll flip it over if I'm working on watercolor, and I'll sign it on the back, but I'll print my name and the year.
Mhm.
Just because if anyone
Title
wants
it.
to figure out who did it, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, like it's like I kind of thought of like, did we all think at one point? Because I'm guilty of it. I would put like a cool little symbol. It looked like RL as a symbol that looked evil. We've all been there. But I'm like, did I really think that I was going to be such a good artist that you can just like look at my work and go, yeah, that's a blah blah blah. Because I have some artwork from some artists that are now really popular, and their style changed 100%. Like I have to tell you that painting is from that person. You would never guess it.
Right.
And it's kind of mind blowing too. I have an old Dave Tevenall, and there's no thick lines.
What?
It's just like, yeah, they're all the same lines. Wild.
That's interesting. I've got a couple
like
of
people
Dave
look at it.
originals, but they're different. They're not like
they're-
super massive in
different. There's-
size, but
Yeah, there's like a
I also
certain
have a
point to
couple of
where we
tattoos done
all.
by him.
He's a nice fella.
He is. Very
It's
nice.
just comes to a point where we all change our style, and we like, like this. That's not our signature anymore. So you can't identify the artist like as well anymore because there's so many of us too. And I have talked about how the tattoo line can be our signature, but it's just still too like the variables too open, So just sign your work there to the world. The world hears this. Sign your work.
Sign your paintings, right? Not
sign your- yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
your tattoos.
No, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think it is, but I mean, other people might, but I think that's weird. Yeah. So sign your paintings and, your pottery, sculptures.
Yeah, whatever original works of art you create.
Yeah, just please, for dear God. It's embarrassing hanging up stuff and it not have a tag for me in the studio because like everyone else has got a tag. They're like, oh, we're figuring out who that is. I mean, everyone's been really helpful though online. Like sometimes I'll just like post something. Like, does anyone know who this is? And usually one of my buddies knows, or they respond. So that's good.
So I went through that a few years back in 2017. I had just gotten done going to the London show for the first time. And I bought several $100s worth of prints while I was there in like the first 2 days.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Some of those though didn't have any kind of signature. They didn't have any kind of marks or anything like that to identify the person that did them. And those that did have signatures were just all over the place. So I had to go through and like start posting in a whole bunch of different tattoo forums and places like, hey, does anyone know who did this? Because I have these and I want to frame them and give the artist credit, but like, I don't know. I don't remember. This was, quite a few years ago. Turns out that 4 of the prints that I have are actually from Daniel's Bouty, the same guy who made the book I originally purchased. And he no longer sells those prints. And it was a series of 4 that he did that I fell in love with. They were all based around tattooing. One was like a tattoo machine with like a moon and this gorgeous, super cool color scheme. So he did basically the 4 elements, only utilizing like tattoo paraphernalia, I guess, to create and like color schemes to create the 4 seasons, not the 4 elements, sorry, 4 seasons.
No, that's what I figured. Yeah.
They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible prints. But I had no idea because there's no signature on. And I was like, well, I can't do anything with these until I know who did them.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame because they're just hanging out. But what I've done at shows, or I've tried to do at shows, is I always take pictures of the booth when I buy a print, like in front of the print. And usually they're like, don't take pictures of people's booths, but if you stand back far enough and you're not like doing an screenshot of like their art and stuff like that, it's usually fine. Or I grab a card and like try to stick it in the envelope that the print is in. And then when I get frames, then I really make sure that that card is on the back of the frame, so I can keep track that way too.
It's a good way to do it. I never actually thought about doing that.
Well, everyone in my shop, oh my God, this has been fun. Everyone in my shop that's hung in the gallery has like, we've identified, I've found cards for people. Like I've gone through my bags of cards that I had and I found so many people's old cards and put it in the back of their prints that I have framed. So it's really quite cute. Like I just was really, I don't know, I'm just sentimental like that. So everyone has like their own little.
You just
like,
made me feel really, really good because I thought I was the only one that had a business card collection.
Oh no, I think that's our generation, right? Right? I mean, right? Yeah,
it was like
sure.
I'll see your Hannah Aitchison card and I'll raise you a Tom Renshaw, right?
Ooh, bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got quite a collection from quite a few people.
Dang, that's cool.
Yeah, and I used to just travel around to go to shows before I really got immersed into tattooing, before it completely and totally took over my entire life. And I used to just travel around to different shows, like Baltimore. I'd go down to Baltimore one weekend, and then I'd hit somewhere else that was close, anywhere within driving distance I could make it to, I would go and I would walk around and I would be that guy that just collected business cards. And
Yeah, that's cool. And they're like, yeah, no, I mean, you're around such big like cities, like such big meccas for such awesome work. Like the first tattoo shows that I went before I started tattooing were all Florida. Like I was pretty sequestered until I became like a real adult, to Florida. Like it was just like tattoo shows mixed with like motorcycle rallies, and it was just all like 98 rock, hammer the pig, like very, very Florida. Crawfish festivals next door, and you're like, sure, I guess this makes sense. But as soon as I started going to bigger city shows, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a tattooer. This is rad. Like, I had no idea it was so cool out there. I just thought it was like real, I don't know, something. It was real something, I tell you. Oh, go on. Sorry about that. I was just like, wait,
yeah,
you were in Baltimore? Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah. I've been privileged enough to get to meet and like shake hands with some really amazing artists, even back in the early 2000s, back when I was still in college. Every time the Philly show would roll around, or any of the conventions that were held in Philly, I would go to and I would, grab a card, because there's always been an aspect of fine art that I've always found very intriguing with the way that people design and present their business cards. So it's something I've always really looked at. Oh yeah, absolutely. And how their booth is set up. Are they doing just like a standard hang your banner, put some prints out, scatter some business cards everywhere and call it a day? Or, do they have one of those like wire mesh cages that they can hang prints on? Do they have, like plants that they bring in for ambiance? What's their lighting setup like? Where's their massage table set up? Where do they store everything? Do they have pop-up banners, or is it just like a table drape?
Right.
There's a science behind it, and it was something I was always fascinated with.
No, same, and business cards too. I mean, even before tattooing, me and my sister had those folders that you could like just collect fucking business cards. Like that's all they were. They were these little books, and you would just collect them. And we thought they were cool. And my dad had a big office full of engineers, and they all had their own business cards. And Steve would go around and just collect them, and then they eventually just started giving them to us. And then as soon as we started tattooing, and stickers and business cards and that whole marketing media, and I was a punk rocker for a hot minute, so all the street teams and all the like, I kind of loved the marketing aspect of tattooing in that way, because I necessarily wasn't thinking about like putting myself in a magazine, or like buying an ad somewhere. I was more like, how do I communicate with the people? I would like go to shows and pass out my business cards, like as the people were flooding out, so I could pick what genres of music of clientele I had, like, why would I hang out at the country shows when I could just be hanging out at the rock shows or the punk shows, or I would hang out at the smooth jazz shows if I wanted those rich mummies,
Right.
Like, hey, yeah, like you can like really, like you had more control of your clientele with the business cards than we do now, than people can like look at our social media. Yep. Like you can fish out your clients. When I was in college, I learned that biologists are really scared to like, go to a big scary tattoo shop and get like a big scary man to tattoo them. No offense, big scary men. We love you. And so I was it. They like picked me. They're like, you're in class with us. You're safe. And I was like, yes, I am. And all they wanted were like cool shit, like birds and bugs and stuff I loved anyway. So that's really actually how I got into the flora and fauna, was college. I just like took the whole biology department of SBC. yeah, and that was like I could control that. Like there was a little bit of me doing that. That wasn't just by like the grace of things. You know, I could have just stayed quiet and been like, no. But I definitely, yeah, I was like, well, so I don't know. It's definitely different, but I still, I have this new business card idea that I am so stoked about because you know I'm like going eco, like that's my whole dream is to get even more eco-friendly within the studio. So I haven't like ordered business cards in a while. We've been really on the QR codes and stuff like that, but like having that real tangible object is still kind of needed within our society. So I found these hemp made cards that you can separate into like little, you can use them as filters for your blunts, or I thought of them also being as rip-off tabs. So you can like hand your buddy the information with that one card. So you can just like keep it in their wallet and then like hand it on.
Right on.
And they're biodegradable. So you can even like, if you were to bundle a seed in one and let it soak, it would like sprout in the paper, like all these different things that you can do with it. Yeah, so it's like, oh shit, like I'm gonna reinvent the business card right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's very exciting. But everyone look it up. I think I just typed in like perforated business cards, eco-friendly perforated business cards, and it came like a bunch of companies came up. And it's all soy-based ink. So the craziest thing I see happening is someone has a crazy soy allergy, you know, it's like sucks on it and like has a fat lip for a day. But that's like the only faulty thing I can think of. Yeah. And yeah. So I don't know. I've been thinking of like little things like that. Like advertising in itself needs to change as well. Like we need to be thinking about biodiversity. I saw one person do something cute. You know, you can like make your own paper and put seeds in it, so you can cut them up and like flower them, like grow them. Like you can get a stamp and also like put your information on that stamp and use that paper as well. So it becomes something, it becomes carbon.
Yeah, you know, that's definitely something that I think would be more of like a regional marketing over, you know, something a little bit more national, because if you live in a state such as I do, that doesn't really allow you to grow said things. You know,
Not
granted,
even
I know
pots over your windowsills of the city.
Yeah, still not allowed.
No green things ever.
Pretty much.
What?
Well,
What?
it is Philadelphia. I mean, you can smoke it in public with a $75 fine. You just can't grow it.
Oh, I just meant plants in general.
Oh, I was immediately thinking about potential future marketing for like the cannabis industry, because that is a huge growing industry.
Huge, especially in Oklahoma. But no, you can literally grow any seeds. And it's just, yeah.
Maybe throw some daisies in there, some poppies.
I'm a hippie. Yeah, put some basil seeds in there. You know, you got fresh basil at home. Delicious.
There you go. There you go. Like the way you're thinking.
Such a hippie. I'm such a hippie, aren't I, Jason? I mean, it's true. You know.
You are, but in a good way.
Yes, in the best way. Hail Satan.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard that.
Aye. So even funnier if you spell out I and I. Even better. Oh dear. All right, let's do an art check. What are we all doing? What time is it? Art check.
8 o'clock.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, let's look at what everybody's doing. Can you zoom out on people's stuff, Jason? Do you have the power?
I can indeed. I have the power.
Thank you.
Cool.
So yours is looking really nice. Look at that.
Yeah, it's so mine's a little bit more tricky to zoom in on, but like I can spotlight it pretty easily, but I've got to manually adjust the focus. So
okay, yeah.
Yeah, let me do this all spotlight. So Oh, that's the focus. And here's the zoom.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, I'm just
It
blocking
almost
in
looks
some of my
like
blue tones. Yeah,
is that
I've been
gouache
on
or
a
just straight watercolor?
straight watercolor. It's the
Oh, that's
Doc Martens Hydrus. I'm using
Okay.
cobalt blue, cobalt blue and phthalo blue. The phthalos,
Okay, I love how it
these
pulls
areas.
in the smaller petals. Yeah.
Yeah, so this
Those
is
are
the
nice.
phthalo, and then all of this is just a cobalt blue wash just to block in, that way I know where my outer petals are. And then anywhere that's still on the
Right.
interior, I'm going to do like a nice turquoise blue that's nice and thinned out. So it's going to have that real nice.
Oh yeah, talk
luminance.
about that effect. Right. Have
So
you like do the heavier edge?
Yep. So I always do a heavier edge and then
Yeah.
wash it out, because what you want to do, and especially when you're working with watercolor, is you have to allow the luminance of the paper, the white of the paper, to shine through. That's what's going to make those colors vibrant, right? That's why working with transparent watercolor, pan watercolor, tube watercolor, even other types of liquid watercolor, it's going to be very important that you go through and you kind of plan things out in advance to know where you want your brightest areas to be. Because if I tinted the whole background with a Payne's gray, like I originally was thinking about doing, any areas in here in the middle part would not be anywhere near as vibrant unless I mixed in like an opaque white.
Oh yeah.
Which is nice if you're going for that kind of a look. But if you want to stick with the very light, airy, kind of translucent look, that's going to be a completely different process. It's going to require far more planning to sit down and say, okay, I need this look here. So this is going to be this color, but I'm going to add a few drops of water to it, to really kind of thin it out. And I'm going to do a light wash of that. But I know that certain other areas that I want to have be a little bit more opaque or a little bit more concentrated, that's going to be a lot less of a wash. Maybe I'll only add 1 drop of water to it to thin it out just enough to make it a little bit more malleable. So that's going to give that a completely different look. It's also going to make certain areas a bit darker by contrast, just based on how little pigment there is, right? So you don't even really have to think about it. You could do a monochromatic painting just by doing different levels of wash. And actually the perfect example for that, where did I put that watercolor pad? I finished up that Sacred Heart I was working on, and that is going to be the perfect example for how you can actually use different levels of one color just to achieve different effects. Fortunately, I still have this hanging around because I have not framed it to give to the guy that commissioned it yet. But
oh, beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, let me zoom out a little bit.
I love it.
That's in.
That's so cool.
Then did I lock that? I locked that. Hold on. There we go. So the background was just essentially a burnt umber wash that I did, and I applied it using a little atomizer spray pump bottle. And basically just sprayed down the entire background, which is why I had to go back through, because I wasn't really thinking in the right mindset at the time. So I was like, yeah, I'll just tint the whole paper. It'll give it that antique look. And it did.
Oh yeah.
But by doing that and forgetting to block out and mask off a lot of the paper, the actual paper, to create those vibrant highlights, I actually had to go back through with opaque white at the end to add all of those vibrant areas. And then that gave me a completely different look than what I was originally going for. Same thing up here with the flames and these very bright yellows. That's actually yellow mixed in with opaque white in order to create the vibrance there, in order to create
I was going to ask. Yeah. Right. And that is the biggest mistake. Like, Mhm.
all of those filigree pieces, that's all just using different levels of wash. You know, I
Beautiful.
used like for some of the more solid areas like here and here that are very just flat tones. That was I think a
Mhm.
5-drop black, and then the rest of the cap mixed with distilled water. Other areas had like 2 drops and then thinned out or brushed out. Down here was
See, I think
7
that's
or 8.
exactly. Okay, I think that's exactly why I've never used like the liquid watercolors because of the drop system. Like I don't even
Yeah.
do the drop system when I tattoo. I use premixes, yeah. But I've never done that with painting, you know. And I'm like such I gotta be free like a bird, man. I can't be restricted. I think I would like double dip too much or something. Like
Yeah, it gets
mm,
tricky. It gets
mm.
tricky because you have
But
to
that's why
understand
I
that.
was good at traditional flash at all. Like
Yeah. So I always
my
build up
flash
in
are always
layers.
painterly. Hmm.
I build up in layers and I'm neurotic about layer. So I'll start off with like a
Oh,
1-drop
okay.
or a 2-drop here, right? For some of these very, very light gray areas that you can barely even tell were painted. In fact, I'll zoom
Oh,
back
okay. So
in.
you'll do layering with a drop system as well, though. That's
Absolutely.
what you're saying. Oh, okay. See, I'm all layer all the
Yeah.
time.
So like
But
even this area
that's I mean,
here, this area here was done with like a 1-drop. So it's just
uh-huh.
slightly darker than the paper, right? And then from
Oh,
there,
okay.
you know, and I'll start out with using a 1-drop or a 2-drop for like all of it, just to block in those values and say, okay, this is where I want the light to come down from here and fade out. Same thing here. I'm going to have a light, a shadow here, fade that out, shadow here, fade that out. And if I need that darker, I'll just go back through and do the same thing using like a 3-drop. And if I still need darker, I'll use a 5-drop. So I'll just constantly layer up the darkness
Oh, wow.
to
Okay.
create the exact tone I'm looking for. And that's how I got all of these
Right.
nice little crispy edges, all of these nice little folds, and how I could really sit down and pick apart if I need a tiny little bit of a value in this area, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just fading out from here, I'll start out with my 1-drop and I'll
Mm-hmm.
brush that out, right? And then next to that's going to be a 3, next to that's going to be a 2, next to this, here's that 1-drop again. Just creating that
Mm-hmm.
very subtle tone. You know, so
Wow, that's
I'm
intricate.
constantly building in
I
layers.
love that. No, that's great. I mean, it'll be so smooth. I'm just kind of imagining. And I'm also asking all these questions because I'm doing something for myself coming up here. I've been desperately working on my values. And with that, I would like to do like a whole, like you just gave me an idea with the drop system because I do want to do a study with myself. I got all these red lights for the studio and for my room. So when I'm working on a painting, I just like flip it to the red lights real quick and see if my values are getting a little crazy
Right,
or not. Like if you know what I mean, if I need to cool it.
right.
So that would be nice to kind of train myself though, like think of values and not necessarily so I know what caps are what. I can kind of like at least experiment that way. Because of course, like my problem with that experiment has always been, well, what colors like I've after like mixing like 1,000 colors together, I'm like, well, what colors did I use? So that would be like a
Right.
really good system to just do a drop system to figure that out. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm one of those people where I'm all about consistency. So
Mhm.
if I can figure out a methodical way to go about creating those tones around a whole piece, looking at consistent values across the board. If I really want to maintain that consistency, I'm going to come up with a way to go through and make sure that it is consistent every single time. From using the same black to using the same number of drops of water to using the same number of drops of paint, I can really control that value a little bit more than if I were to sit back and be like, okay, was this a cerulean blue mixed with an aqua? Or was this turquoise blue mixed with like a phthalo green? You know,
Right. Well, you're gonna laugh at me. When I did that plein air seminar, that's basically the first time I've ever dared pour out and pre-mix my oil paints.
Yeah.
And I was like, Nick, look what I'm doing. This is for you.
Yeah. But you know what? It helps for that consistency.
Oh, it really did. It's a time of day change and everything. Like I said, I've never done plein air that long. I've always done it within like, an hour. And then I keep moving. But I have the availability to be out. I don't know how long I was out there for, but I remember being the last one for a while. So it was so freeing to really get in the details that I wanted to really like capture everything I wanted to, because like I have the colors, so I know what time of day that was. I already remembered, so I have them. I just need to put them where they belong. Yeah, and that was really cool. That was really nice. But it's still a system I'm working on with the watercolor, of course, because I use this like the tube watercolors.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a little bit more.
Plenty of those as well.
Oh yes, love them.
Yes.
I think I either love them or I've been completely conditioned to them, one way or the other. Ugh.
So I'm not sure if I have it with me here or not. I might not have it with me. I do. Wonderful. But this is exactly how I made it through all of college. Even though we did work in oils and like all types of other mediums, I have my, and I've had this for about 15 years. But you can see the individual trays along the side. I used to have a drop of every color that I needed, and I would let it dry.
Yeah.
I would let them completely dry out, and then I would just take a water pen, and I'd be like, oh, I need a little of this. Check it, maybe mix it a little bit with something else. And then boom, there's my little bit of color.
No, this one's rad. Oh my gosh, it's fun. No, this one's rad. I've gotten this pretty recently, and I love that it has like a place to put your thumb and your brushes. Mine like barely fit in there because they're the collapsible ones. But no, I like it as a palette because it's big, and I can put like multiple colors in it, and it's fine.
Go like one color per each corner, and then it's right there. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Exactly. But it is a little soft, it doesn't go hard or anything. It's pretty genteel. It's like, I think I could easily squish this thing with my butt, or in a backpack, or like.
Can you rotate your camera so it's landscape? Because right now, yeah, and I'm not sure why.
I don't know why either. It's been good this whole time. Boop, boop.
There we go.
How about that? You were just Gabe for a second.
I know. I just transformed into Gabe.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice. I have used Spot Lip, by the way, so we are taking a look at what you're working on now.
I have left 0 paper this round. I'm just going full blast color saturation, which is not my typical for my watercolors, but I'm feeling it, feeling it.
Well, you have left a little bit of the paper. I mean, look at the feet.
I'm just not finished with it yet. I'm like, as I'm reducing right now, I'm like, it's fine. It's gonna be gone. Yeah. What saturation?
Now you're lifting away, correct?
Yes. This is a nice technique that I love. It's really just cleaning out your brush really well, being vigorous. You're laying down a lot of water. You're letting it like saturate the paper, and also it's a solvent to like loosen up that paint on the paper as well. Like oh God, what's the word? You know what I'm talking about?
Stick on Arabic?
No. de-solidifying.
Ah,
That word.
yes.
It's doing that. And so then you go back, it's all timing as well. Then you go back and then you can just literally scoop it up with your big brush, a big spongy brush. And I love doing this, especially around like little areas where I did leave a lightness for it, but I went a little bit lighter, and I do want to go through and highlight. I can't get it white, but just like very subtly, I'll go through. And this is sometimes how I get highlights on my feathers. I'll just go through and put a little bit of that wet down and then scrape it up.
And that lifting that you're experiencing, that's really something that you can only get with tube and pan watercolors. Even some pan watercolors, you can't actually achieve that with, depending on the level of permanence that color has.
Yeah, there's so much pigment that's into watercolors that it kind of sits on the top of the paper, to be completely honest. Like you can feel it when you're done painting. It's a thick painting. And I think that's why I like it so much. It's like so much like acrylic for me. And I really love working with acrylic. But I know I can control it like this. I know I have the option to just do this lift technique. Because I do like my watercolors to be a little bit sharper, a little bit crispier, and I love really like playing on these dark, like hugging contrast lines, and then I know I can go back in and like soften some of them up with just like the very tip of my brush and a little bit of water and make these like really intricate little perfect little feathers like swooping off of him around his neck and things like that. I can soften things up even as I'm working on the painting. I can like go back into old paintings and do it too if I really wanted to. Yep. Just because that pigment is still just residing on the top of the paper. Like it soaks it. It just lands how it's going to land when it's wet. So if you get it wet again, it'll land well, it will again. So it's really controlling it, and that's what we're doing is pushing pigment around. Yeah, I love it. That's why I use it.
I really like that aspect of watercolor because it is in a sense forgiving. It will, if you don't like the color you put down, you can lift it up and you can go through and say, okay, I didn't like that blue. Let me throw down a different blue, or maybe not that green, maybe a different green.
Right.
But you also run into a little bit of a complication there. And I've experienced this. I don't know if your method.
You can definitely overwork the paper. So you gotta be really decisive. I don't really do it to like fix oopsies. I try to only use it for effects. Like if I just really want to like make something really crispy on an edge, or if I just see like a little highlight, I won't try to like take off an entire thing, like I'll just kind of go around soft and just like bring out some more light here and there. I won't try to completely use it as my eraser because you will like really noticeably see it in your paper, and then it looks like a mistake, for sure. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Of course, there is always the downfall.
Do you experience that if you're layering it all? If you're layering, say, a color over top of another color?
If you let your layer work, like dry really well, and it's not too wet, and it's like, no, I don't really experience that much. Okay. I do use really good paper. Like I really do like Arches. I think this is like maybe a weird cousin of it. I don't know what paper this is. I have to go look.
Weird cousin that everyone kind of ignores at family reunions.
Yeah, exactly. But it's cheaper, so you're just gonna go with it.
Right.
But I like it. Like Arches, like sometimes it's intimidating me because it's so like it's so permeable. It's so, is that the right word? It does suck in. It's so like, I don't know. It's a little too thick. It's a little too bulky for me. Like I like a little bit of a paper that gets a little crease to it. That gets a little like, I know it's like the drying that this has is a little bit faster than Arches to me.
Gotcha. I was going to say, is that based on the weight of the paper that you're using? 300
the weight of the paper,
40?
Yeah. yeah, like you can, if you can cut it into with a razor blade, I'm probably not going to want to use it.
Okay.
Which is a cool technique though. That's another technique with watercolor paper if it's a thick weight. And you want a really crispy line, or you have a mistake on the edge or something, you literally take a razor blade and cut off like the first or second layer of that painting, and you can like bring up a whole white spot. Like sometimes I thought of a painting for like watercolor space where I do that. But again, it's art just to me makes it more of a project, I guess, where I want to be a little bit more loose. I want to be a little bit more free. And art just to me is just very cumbersome sometimes. I know that's like the opposite for a lot of people, but I'm just
Fair
a
enough.
weirdo. So yeah, I'm
We
weird.
all are. We all are.
Oh
No
yeah.
shame in that.
Oh yes. No. So I know we're coming up on time. Did we get anybody
Yep.
back yet? Where's Gabe? Is he anywhere?
Well, I'm the host now, so I can kind of end this whenever you want.
Oh, okay. Is there anything that we did not talk about?
Brushes.
Oh yeah, I love these guys. These are my little silvers.
Oh,
They're
silver brush.
They're super expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I won't eat to buy these because they're worth it, and I can do 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 put it in your pocket and put it in your travel easel. Put it with your regular brushes, and the tips won't fray, and they're protected, and they're weighted really nice, and they look classy as F. I love the weight of them. And the bristles are perfect. Like your bristle, every single, even the little tiny line brush that I have. They're just really well made. You know, they have a really nice well on them. So if you're doing,
I do really like silver brush for that. Mine are
yeah,
Esconda, but same thing. They're
Mhm.
collapsible.
Oh, nice. How's the price point? Is it a little bit better?
Yeah, they're a little bit less expensive. You can get I mean, they're still pricey for brushes, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think I got the 3-pack of these, which is number 10, number 6, and a number 2. I think
Mhm.
these 3 were $45.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay, that's not that bad. Yeah, the silver ones are pretty pricey.
yeah,
But I've just been really hooked to them because of just the quality. Like I've had these brushes forever, you know, so I like the quality over quantity. And I'm like,
absolutely.
well,
I was
they've
having
lasted
that
long.
debate with a friend of mine the other day. It's like if you
Mhm.
spend a little bit more money on a really good brush, it will last you a lifetime.
Yeah, for real. Just gotta take care of it, and that's it. Like I hate
Right.
cheap brushes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's
Getting the
nothing more
bristles that
infuriating
fall
than
all
a
over the
cheap.
place,
Yeah.
and
Oh
especially when you're
my
working with acrylic and
God.
oil, trying to go through and pick
Oh
a
yeah.
little bristle out of a painting that you just were working on. It's a nightmare.
Mhm. You don't even notice it till the next day, and it's just a bit much. It's a bit much, but you know that's why we buy the expensive shit. I'm like, well, I'm an adult. I know what I need. I don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone once like stopped me at the store and was like, "Ma'am, these are really expensive. Are you sure you want these?" And I was just like, "Dude, I know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Yep.
Yes, I know these are really expensive.
You might not understand why, but trust me, I do.
Yep. It's like I would rather not fight. It's like tattooing where you don't want to fight with your gear. You don't want to fight with the mechanics of your machine to like just, you know, anything, clip cords. If something's not working right, your day is going to be terrible. So it's the same thing with painting. You know, I see this as a part of my career, a part of my longevity of my life. So I'm going to buy the tools that I need to do it right. It's like self-care for art.
Right. It's a one-time long-term investment that's going to pay itself off, you know, if not with the first painting, definitely with the second.
Yes, exactly. Like you'll sell one painting and make it back. I assure you, it'll be fine. Just get the good
If
brushes.
you don't, you're not doing something right.
Yeah, and then companies are just going to keep making them. Don't get me on my rant. They're going to keep making them, and they're going to keep making them, and they're shit, and they're just thrown away, and it's good materials that are going to the garbage. And if we just use good materials and just keep using good materials that last us, we won't have such a influx of garbage. Just saying.
I will say the only time I will use a cheap brush is if I'm putting down masking fluid to mask
if
off
I'm
certain areas.
oh yeah, if you know it's gonna die, then yeah,
Yeah.
same. You got to sacrifice the cheap brushes. But I mean, for overall projects, if you just keep buying brushes and throwing them out and buying, oh come on, like you'd be surprised, Jason, actually how many brushes I have. But
No, I
like it's a very
No,
selected few.
Well, actually, I probably would. I would be surprised.
Yeah.
You have, I'm going to guess somewhere between, I'm going to do a conservative guess of 8 brushes that you use regularly.
Oh God. Oh, that I actually use? Nope, less.
Really?
Yeah, I think I use in my structure of my everyday life. I think I probably use like, you know, I have 3 ones of these out, right? But I've been using this one the entire time. And then when I oil paint, same thing. I'll have like 5 brushes out, but I use one of them. So I use like 2 or 3 brushes. Like my water, in between my watercolor and oil and acrylic. And it's like certain shapes. I'm just like, yep, that's it. Because I can get really fat lines with this. I can also get like little pinstripey lines with this too. So why not?
Yeah. Hey, do the things, do all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah, we're poor. We gotta like use whatever we have.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of like cheaper ones. Some are more specialty brushes, like big, loose, floppy mop brushes for big areas of wash. Some are, you know, a little bit more specialized, like miniature brushes for those super tiny little areas that you just really need to get into and just do tiny little bits. And it's weird because as you use those miniature brushes, you can almost hear the pitch of your voice get up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've got some larger wash brushes that I use for larger areas for like really big fields of smooth gradients. But I mean, I'm one of those people that if I go to an art supply store, I can't not buy a brush.
I used to be like that, but I felt like I like had to move so many times that I was like, man, this sucks. So I'm such a weirdo with buying stuff. Like I buy stuff from my studio.
Yep.
That's for sure. But that's
and that is why I do not go to art supply stores very often.
Oh yeah, I just like straight up deny myself the right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I don't need that. I'm not going to do that.
It's like, I don't need that, but I do need a brand new OLED mirror in my station. I'll get one of those instead of a couple of new brushes that I really don't need.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just like keep my old faithfuls. You know, I'm like that though. I have like pocket watches and knives and stuff like that I've had for over 20 years. Like I just like everything in my entire house is like from my childhood or a hand like an heirloom or something. Like I just hate like new stuff. It's almost like it's part of my being, you know.
Yeah, because then you have to break it in and then you don't know if it's going to work right. And it's too much of a variable.
Character.
Right. There's no history there. So why would you need to use
Probably has some kind of science witchcraft, you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Some
I had a
milk
typewriter all
magic?
throughout school too. Yeah, some
Really?
weird magic that. Oh yeah, I love typing. Like, and computers were really expensive back then. So I had a little brother typewriter, and I just kept on. Like some things we had to like send via email, and I was like, fucking bastards. So I would just borrow my roommate's laptop and then go to the computer lab and send it off. But yeah, I was like a crazy goat lady before, it was cool, I guess. Like I always say that I don't understand technology. I'm like, no, I'm like, really, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, it's just like this weird thing that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. How to like set up my ring alarm or yeah. No, the smart bulbs in our shop. I had my apprentice Megan. I had her boyfriend come do that because I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Succeeded.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. Yeah. He's like, what? Like, I don't know. It's fine. He's like, you can do this. I'm like, oh, I'm sure. But no.
Speaking of Megan, I'm going to spotlight you, and why don't we take a look at what you're working on?
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing little critters.
Aw,
Let me see if I can get some. I'll try to a little bit. This guy's on a little.
Oh, that
mess.
one's cute, Meg.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
And then this
Adorable.
one's hiding in some blackberries.
I want to see more blackberries to the left of his body.
Oh, okay.
So that tail's almost like a little surprise.
Yeah. And then this one's hiding
Oh, and
in
that guy's cute.
berries.
Little
Little critters.
The critters. That one's, look at him. Oh my
I know.
God.
He's a cutie.
Megan's on a rodent
nice.
wing and I'm on a jumping spider
She
thing. Like we
does the
both got our
best
little
jumping
kicks right now.
spiders. They're like friendly
Thank
little
Thanks.
babies.
Megan, have you ever
pretty
looked
cute.
at drawing pictures of sugar gliders?
Oh no, but that's a good
Ooh.
idea.
you. Yeah, sugar
Sugar
gliders are
gliders are a
cute.
good one. As far as like big-eyed, cute little creatures, sugar gliders, chinchillas.
Yep, chinchillas are cute. Hamsters,
Yep.
We just
bunnies.
had a moment. I didn't realize I like drawing birds until maybe a week or two ago, and we had a moment. We were like, "Wow, this is fitting." So
Yeah,
that
we're
was
like, oh wow, perfect.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now we're on the mousies, and it was really weird because she drew the mouse, and then the same night that she drew it, I had found a mouse and saved it in my photos to show her, and it was like almost the same pose of everything.
Yeah.
Just
That's
a
awesome.
fucking mouse. So I'm like, are we fucking psychic?
Yes.
See, we're psychic.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been around each other every single day for
For
now
half a
psychic.
year.
Yeah.
It's been nice. I
Oh
feel
my
so
God, it's going by
grateful.
so fast.
Yeah.
Better.
I'm
No, no, good. You are.
I
You're doing
know.
really
I'm a
good.
lucky one. I'm a lucky one. I get a
No, you're
really
I am
cool
a lucky.
mentor.
I am a lucky one.
No, we're both
I
lucky.
try.
Oh.
You don't have to tell them. Try to make it playful. Yes,
She does a good
serious.
job. It's tough but very fair, and I'm learning more than I could imagine. So thank you.
Good.
Yay! Oh, you're
That's
welcome.
what the world needs
try.
more of, is people that
I
actually
try.
care about what their apprentices learn.
Yes, I would agree.
Oh,
with
dude,
that.
she's gonna be a
And,
bear. I dare anyone. Yeah, she's gonna be a barracuda.
There's so many times I want
Yeah,
to say
get it.
it.
Renee, that actually brings up a good point though. So I don't know if you've heard about Tattoo Smart's new community.
Yeah, they've had it for a while, right?
Launchpad. It's called Launchpad. It's
Oh.
it's all vetted tattoo artists that have been in the industry and are more than happy to help and provide education. They actually have a community, like a group of people that are part of the community overall,
Mhm.
dedicated to helping to set standards for apprentices, what they teach, like, try to get things a little bit more standardized as far as providing
Yeah.
a quality apprenticeship.
No, I was just saying, it needs to be federal. It needs to be standardized. There's so many
I agree.
Like, I'm good for diversity of people, but the diversity of education is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's unfair because that leaves the health department in line to have whatever standards that they want, and it's a whole thing. But that's awesome. No, I will definitely hit them up. Like, hello. You know me. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm that weirdo girl. Hi. Can I help? I
And
just
I've
like
got-
teaching. It's fun.
It is. It's so rewarding too.
Mhm. Well, I mean, no, sometimes it's not. I'll be honest. Like, I'm not a liar. It's stressful and tiring, and you really second guess yourself all the time. Do you know who you are and what you're teaching? Like, I've really had to like second guess my own self, while doing it for a long time. But it is rewarding when you finally make that breaking moment and they've got something that they'll be able to like better their lives with, like something really valuable like hits them one day and you're like, yeah, I helped you with that. Cool. So it is rewarding in that sense, but sometimes I'm just like, it's very self-defeating, and I think that's why there is like not so many people that like doing it, because it's like, you just have to give a lot. It's a big charity thing. And it takes time and concentration. And if you're like on your own path and you've got your own groove and you don't want to disrupt that, don't fucking teach. Like,
right.
Because then you'll just have a terrible time and that person will have a terrible time. It's almost like I really want to see change in this industry. And I've talked about it subtly every now and again, but I've seen the best and I've seen the worst. And I would really, really like to make more, not just women, but really strong women that can handle, or even not even women, just like the new generation of tatters coming in. I want them to be strong in the sense of standing up for themselves and standing up for the better quality of everyone, because there is a lot of like weird judgmental clickiness that is scary and racist and bigoted in this industry. And that's just inappropriate because we're artists, damn it. Like, let's get these thugs out of here that are just making money off the craft. We're actually the ones that are doing art, where they're just like using it as a space for hate grouping. So I don't know. We're in Oklahoma, so we still experience a lot of crazy shit out here. I know it's getting better a lot of places, but it's not also in other places. So I don't know. Lauren actually asked me a long time ago, like, where were we? It wasn't that long ago. Why I thought there was such a giant influx of female tattooers. And I was like, because the older tattooers are fucking tired. So we're going to train these girls how to fight bears. Like, I don't want to fight. I can't fight. I'm too fucking old. I'm too tired. Like, the only thing I'm going to say, no one can relate to, but these people that are coming up, they know what's going on, but they need to learn how to defend themselves, so it just doesn't even come up. It's not even a thing. It's not even allowed, So yeah, it's more of like, let me teach you my warrior ways, young Padawan.
Yes.
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 So I do have one final question for you this evening.
Because then we got a goal. Yes, sir.
Have you? Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, you go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, have you? And I'm not sure like what you're using as far as like cartridges or needles or machines or anything like that. But I do know that Black Claw has come out with some biodegradable cartridges.
Yes, the plastics they use are biodegradable.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm privy.
Okay.
The only thing that I have to say about that. Oh, I know. But no, it's good that you bring it up because this is something to ponder on, right? Our sharps go in the sharps box, and then they're burned no matter what. Or they
Right.
should be. So why do they have to be biodegradable?
Well, and that was
Just
going to be
saying. The
my
packaging is.
question.
Oh yeah. No, the packaging is great because that's biodegradable. I mean, it's got a shortened shelf life because it's biodegradable. You know, any kind of moisture or anything like that will eventually get in there. But yeah, our sharps are burned. So I love the I even fought it for a while with needle jig, and Mark was like, eh. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna do some research on this. But they just go in the fire, you know, like it doesn't change the composition much, you know, because it's such a controlled process of like getting rid of sharps and biohazardous material. The only thing you can really do is fuck the world up is take your sharps container and put it in a lot somewhere. Because then, or like in a, you know, if you put it in the garbage, because then they have to literally quarantine that entire plot of land 20 feet by 20 feet, completely circumference around, and burn all of that trash that is around. Like that is the law. So you can just like do normal sharps pickup, and that's okay, you know. And I would like the distributors to make better packaging. And that's also part of my eco seminar. You got a little taste of there. Ta-da!
Yay! Free preview.
I'm really excited. Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited about it. It's something that I've been working on for a long time, and it just keeps growing grower the closer and closer it gets to it. I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm just, you know, dotting my I's, crossing my T's, making sure that it's like full, like, you know, it's future proof in the sense that like people will be able to use it for many years to come. But I'm going to be trying to teach like basically how to adapt with these new materials and how to adapt in finding them as well. And like what is bad recycling? What is good recycling? What are being fooled by companies that just want us to buy their shit when it's just shit, you know, like there's other things we could be using because it's all a market, you know. And so to beat the system is to beat the market. And I love doing that because I'm Slavic. No. We beat them all. But no, I'm very excited. It's like getting things down cheaper too, because like everything has gotten so expensive. So during like a shutdown and stuff, I was just researching nonstop about how to just get costs down. Because we had a lot of people in here too, and I had to worry about like such a big overhead to get supplies. That it really just pushed me in full like research mode. And so I've just been researching since, even heavier. And everyone will be surprised how much eco-friendly here has been coming out in the last couple years and last couple months even. It's amazing. The world is changing a little bit. But yeah, so I hope if you're going to Rubber City, anyone come out and see my eco-friendly seminar. It'll be really good for the planet and the turtles. Yeah.
I think that would be a good place to kind of wrap up for the evening because it is 8:45 now.
Oh yes, we are due.
Yes.
Everyone, do your sign off. Say who you are and where you work and like what's your Instagram handle and all that fun stuff. And then we'll show what we've been working on. We can do that, Jason.
Sure. We'll start with Megan.
Oh, hello guys.
Hey, what you got?
Hi.
What cute guy.
I got my little critters.
Oh, those are good.
And then
Those
this
are cute, my
little
dad. Yes.
mushroom critter. And
Oh, what a baby. Yeah, I love that mushroom critter.
thanks. I do too. It's a nice little surprise for the evening. So I work at Goldfang Gallery and I am Renee's apprentice, and my Instagram is sub and then the letter Q .tattoo. And yeah, you can find me there for more critters and birds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason.
I'm going to go through. So my name is Jason Leeser. I work at the Inkwell Tattoo in Southampton, Pennsylvania. I'm also part of the Reinventing the Tattoo crew. You can always join me on Sundays at 1 p.m. East Coast time for a live drawing group where we go through and do something kind of similar. I'm usually working on an art project, or we're talking about tattoos or something like that. That's Sundays at 1 p.m. here on the Reinventing the Tattoo channel. Feel free to stop by, share your thoughts. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Philly Inc. And I will be more than happy to, talk with you about just about anything you can imagine. So, and over to you, Renee.
Here, I'm finishing up here. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm Renee Little. I own Goldfing Gallery and also part of the Reinventing crew. I teach these paint nights or host these paint nights at least every single month at the end of the month on Mondays. So please come out. And if you're going to River City or Homeward Bound, I'll be teaching my eco-friendly seminar for tattooers and tattoo studios. So sign up early. You can do that by reaching me at reneelittletattoos@gmail.com or hit me up at the Goldfing Gallery at gmail.com as well. So I'll see everybody next time. Feel free to join us. If not, see you at a show. Everyone,
Awesome.
Good night. Yeah, thank you.